basically, see, Nikkitha, I think we have some idea what Shopper is, and but then let's start with the brand first. Like if you can briefly tell ki, what does it do, so that a layman can clearly understand ki, what this product actually is.
Right. So I just want to start by asking, like, how many of you have NRI family, friends, or relatives abroad? I
I
mean,
think
all of you, right?
all all
So most of them come down for vacations, and you'd see like how they carry ton loads of Indian stuff and go back, right? So that was the same problem that I went through when I was an NRI living abroad. Would come down, grandmother would pack hundreds of stuff, go back, but you have to wait like another whole year to enjoy those really good stuff.
yeah, yeah.
The thought process was, on one side, Indian e-commerce is like growing at a terrific pace, but
Mhm.
somehow it's not catering to the people living outside of India. So that's where ShopRay comes into the picture. So ShopRay provides an Indian virtual address to people living outside of India, and they can use this address to shop from stores across the country. The goods then come to our facility, where we give them a storage time of 20 days within which they can buy as many things as they want. Finally, we put it all into one box, consolidate, repack, and send it to their doorstep wherever they are across the globe. So that's what ShopRay does. So we just want to ensure that NRIs or people living outside of India can shop across the year and get their favorite stuff from India.
Great. So I think he also liked it. Now,
That's nice.
yeah. So like, see, and you start. When did you start this? Around what time?
That's a very tricky question. Is it starting? Is it the day you conceive the idea, or is it the day you start research, or is it the day you start the office? But anyway, roughly it was 2017, 18 is the time when we sort of started working on this.
Wow. So, like, you are saying that around 2017 you started working on it, or like you were operational around 2017?
I think we were operational from 2017 around April, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah,
Wow, nice.
yeah.
So, how did like? So you said that you were living outside and you were facing these issues. So can you tell us a little bit more about your journey before that, or like a little bit about yourself? How was your upbringing, and what was happening, and what happened before 2017?
So I think, like I said, I grew up in the Middle East, in Dubai specifically. Like, you're a person from Kerala, and every family has somebody living in the Middle East. That's a very common thing. So I was one among those families growing up in the Gulf, they call it, right? Did my schooling there till 12th grade, and post that I came to India for my engineering from NIT Calicut. And I think engineering is more like a 4-year time to just sit and reflect what you want to do in life. So normally parents just say that do at least an engineering or a medicine and then do whatever you want, right? That was engineering for me. Post that, I think when engineering was finishing, I decided to do a bit of civil services preparation, so want to serve the nation kind of was the mood then. Around couple of years, I was in Delhi, Chennai, I was in Kerala as well. Uh, Towards the end of 2 years, parents started calling and saying, now, what is the plan? Like, is something going to happen, or is this, where's the, paisa going to come from? So I guess I realized that we have to do something for a living, and then I started working with a startup in Gurgaon. This was somewhere around 2014, 2 years post my engineering. So I was parallelly preparing, and then but the startup world was a different experience altogether. I think I really enjoyed how um, you were not just limited to one role. Probably you had the freedom to choose what all you wanted to do. So I think I got exposed to product development, business development, understanding teams, so many things. And you're amidst a time where people are talking about Zomatos of the world, housing.com, they're becoming big stuff, right? So constantly you're talking and hearing and discussing these stuff. So that got me really interested. I was in back in Dubai for a short stint somewhere around 2015-16, and I felt that like people still living there did the same thing, coming back for vacation and carrying stuff back, right? So somewhere I was able to find a problem that resonated with me. Um, having worked in a startup, I felt that I enjoyed doing that. And the impulsive person that I am, somebody who jumped into civil services, so record is there, right? So I said, what is the worst that can happen? You just start and then figure out what will happen. So that's how the entrepreneurship journey started.
Wow. So, like, was like when you were in college, was there even a thought that at some point you'll be having a
Was there a thought? No. Like, I mean, there's nobody doing business in my family. Like, the closest is my grandfather who does private practice, like medical practice. That's the, closest to business that, I've come to. Nobody ever even imagined, like, business is not even a term that people say at home. It's either a engineer or a government job or a PhD abroad, or these are the normal things. So
And,
wow. So,
and I must say, the way Shivam was interviewing her, both of them are batchmates. For those who are listening to us on Spotify, Shivam is not her junior. Both of them
yeah,
have spent the same time together in the same batch.
yeah. Like we were together in college.
yeah.
Yeah, but I don't remember that, like, because from some people you could see from outside that they were built for like some kind of stuff, right? Some people you could figure out ki ha ye banda to maybe he'll do this, he'll do that. But I don't remember like that I don't remember anyone from our batch who thought would do a startup, right,
I
at
think
that
I
time.
think that's what I guess. One important thing is, as a person, I'm very curious. So, like, that nature of me sort of resonated with this work, which is entrepreneurship. So I think I was able to connect there. So it had nothing to do with whether I would do business on. And the other lucky part is, I guess, we are in a time in India where startup ecosystem is developing so fast, right? Maybe 10 years before or 20 years before, when during our parents' generation, it might be a wild thought to start something, right? A startup as a concept is not there. Technology businesses are not there. Maybe an engineering is not needed to do business, right? So many other factors were there, and everything sort of came together in the right manner, I guess.
That makes sense. So, but then how did your startup, like, how did you join a startup in Gurgaon? Like, was it a conscious decision that let me work with a startup, or you just went with the flow, or how did it?
See, you are jobless and you've not done anything for 2 years. Who's going to give you a job? That is the only place who's
Oh man.
you can
What
get a
happened in
job.
campus, Nikita? So we'll go back to camp. What happened in the campus placement?
Campus placement. Oh, interestingly, I sat for placement. I think I got into L&T Powai, and then I actually didn't take up
That's
that
right
job.
here.
Yeah,
It's right
right
here.
there. It's apparently a very good campus
Yeah.
and a beautiful place. But I
You
think I
are in
was,
a better place. Don't worry.
yeah, I mean, I think I was very clear. I just wanted to sit for placements and get, just to be on the safer side, in case
Uh,
last minute plan change. But I think I was very clear on trying giving us civil services a shot. So I was anyway not planning to take up the job.
So this civils was there in from college itself that you
From
wanted to.
school, maybe.
Oh, from school. Okay, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
like probably say sixth standard, seventh standard, like
that's
as early
amazing.
as that. Yeah.
And
Oh,
remember, this is the CSAT. And Shivam, just to, if I may say, this is the time when civil services brought two papers of 200 marks each. One, and that's where they brought CSAT in. So the first paper, engineers got 192 out of 200. Second paper, engineers got 30 out of 200. So there's another engineer here. My marks in the first paper was 192. That's where there was a petition filed in the court that engineers will run through the civil services because the logical reasoning and these we have been born and brought up there.
Mm.
So is it that year when you had CSAT for page one and two was like complete maths and English and
Right,
reasoning?
right, 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 right. Yes.
Yes. So overall, I could not clear the cutoff. I could clear the overall cutoff, but
Hmm.
subject-wise cutoff. Second subject, I was like Harappa and Mohenjo-daro and which painting style. What is this Rajput sculpture, Mughal?
Right.
I was like, I can't learn by remembering. I can learn by logic. My left brain works.
Exactly. That was the challenge that I was facing. I think for me, and retrospectively, if you really think about it, in an age like this, do you really need to have that kind of memory to remember such nitty-gritties. I'm not really sure. And none of these exams really test for your emotional quotient or any of that, right?
The
You're
right brain at all. And that's where a lot of folks like Shivam, you, those who have done great in your sector. Just for your information, what government of India has done is that they have laid out lateral entries at the
yeah.
rank of joint secretaries. So there are 5 joint secretaries currently who have never written civil services. So they are a bit of what do you say, jealousy and hate, not jealousy of other IS officers who have to work very hard to become joint secretaries. And of course, they becomes very senior secretaries, and joint secretary is not that senior position.
Right.
But at joint secretary, there are 5 private sector people, just like hiring someone from Mahindra or Ether who can to handle India's EV market or India's EV industry. Because an IS will not have the chops to do the
Right.
EV. Shivam is a master of say battery tech or EV, or he knows a lot about EV. Let's hire Shivam at the joint secretary level. So
Hmm.
what I'm saying is the hope is not lost. There's a little bit of smile on Shivan's face that I can be talking to 2 joint secretaries or 2020 in 2024.
Right.
That's a lateral entry, but that's very relevant. Government is
I
also
don't dream to do anything like this. But good, right?
Yeah.
So, and then like, so what was the startup about that you were working in, and how did you even land the job there?
I think it was again through a reference and things like that. It was in Gurgaon. I also needed some flexibility because I was also attempting it then. So I remember I'd go for work like from morning 7 to afternoon 1, and I would take a metro from Gurgaon to Delhi for my classes, which was from 2 to 5. Then 5, I would come back to Gurgaon. 5:30, I'd reach Gurgaon and then work till say around 8 or 9. So I needed that kind of flexibility as well. So both were
you
happening.
lived in you lived in Mukherjee Nagar.
No, yeah, I lived there for like 1 month at the end.
Shivam, this is not the shoot. This is other Shankar. This is not that Shankar. This is not 12th fail. This is IIT Calicut pass. That's another Shankar. Just checking Mukherjee Nagar.
Yeah,
Nice,
yeah.
nice. But
So
nice. So, and see, I can see that like that's hustle, right? And that's very good.
No,
That's
I mean, I think that's one thing that civil services definitely taught, right? Because the kind of focus and effort that you need to put in there. In fact, the problem is that once you come out of it, you really don't know how to have a normal life. It takes time to sort of figure out because you're optimizing for time always when you're preparing for civil services. Like, how can you study for a larger amount of time, or solve papers, whatever, so on and so forth. And then coming out of it, you're still in the hangover of that thought overall process. And I don't think I've still gotten out of it. It's really hard. So Saturdays and Sundays is still it's still hard for me to sit simply and then say that, oh, I can just relax for the weekend. It still feels like, oh, something is being wasted somewhere. That's the hangover of that, I guess. But it definitely taught hustle for sure.
Yeah, see, I can totally relate to it because a lot of founders who I talk to, right, they always have this, like, or maybe a lot of people who have gone through similar experiences. So, for example, a lot of people who have prepared for any exam so much, they have that in their mind that till like for a very long time they don't know what is chill, right? And like at that age, right? Because you like these days we hear a lot of people spending time with friends and maybe spending good time around.
Netflix, boss.
Yeah.
Netflix and streaming. Those days were not pre-Netflix days. 2008, 9, 10 are pre-Netflix days. Netflix gave me
Because
so much time.
like I remember like I was talking to someone and they said that whenever they were watching TV, he feels very guilty, and I was
Yeah,
like, wow, this is
right,
this
right.
is a very different mindset.
You have to earn everything, like say
Yeah.
work really hard and then find that time to chill against that work. So
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
yeah, so that's a complex mindset to come out of. I don't think that's really necessary at all.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah,
that you're tuned to that for so
exactly, exactly.
long.
Yeah, like good. So how did you that transition happen that you said that let me leave the job and go back to Dubai and
No, it was part of work. I was in Dubai.
oh, so from this company itself you
Yeah,
went.
yeah, I was there, and then during that phase, I think So interesting thing about being in a startup is you start looking at everything and try to see if there's a problem, right? Somebody falls down and you're like, why did you fall down? Can I fall back?
Yeah.
Kind of, that's the typical talk that goes on in startups,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah. That's good.
so I think I was just having the same attitude when I was in Dubai as well, and then that's when I was like, oh, people are still getting stuff from or somebody has to travel to bring stuff, or somebody's chacha has to go and then bring stuff, or something of that sort.
Yeah,
So then I was thinking around like, how do you, can I put a warehouse in Dubai to do this? Or should I put some warehouse in India to do this? What I was not able to really connect.
Hmm.
That's why my co-founder Saira, she was using this platform called myus.com
Acha.
yeah.
to
I've
get
heard of it.
products from the US.
Okay.
Huh.
So she was casually talking about it. I still remember we were sitting somewhere talking, discussing about it. And it's like, okay, then why can't we do this like from India? I mean, we need products from India. Then why do we have to? Uh, this is currently not available in India. Why don't we do this
Yeah.
from India? So that's where I think that happened. But core is like trying to find problems everywhere. So
Got
when
it.
you're in startup, you're tuned to think that okay, Uber guy did not get a taxi. He thought why,
Yeah.
and that's where it started, right? So that was the core.
How do you keep focus then? Because if you see all things you can do was drop, because you talk about my US. I was while I was doing my research, I figured out that then I also saw Shopre parcels. I said there are a couple of questions. I'll let Shivam run through that one, but then I'll come to product segmentation, diversification. Because Flipkart had something called as e-cart. So when I
Right.
was in Bangalore 2015, eCart used to be a big name, and they had actually open source a department called eCart. Then eCart, I think, had huge losses,
Hmm.
so they closed it back to B2B. Because I remember I used to send my stuff to my sister in back in Rourkela from Bangalore,
Hmm.
and it was like very cheap. eCart was like 1/10 of DDDC or Blaze Flash and whatever. And then one day I said, "Are you give you a GST number?" I said, "No, I'm not a." Then they again, I think now bringing eCart back.
Right.
But so I saw Shopway parcels, then I saw this. I said, I'll talk about that. But when you see problem, you try to find a solution. As Shivam correctly pointed out, how did you have that tunnel vision? Because once you experiment a lot, MVP development, but once you figure it out,
Yeah,
then
that
you,
conviction that this is my problem, right?
how did you develop that, or how did you get it?
I
Uh,
think it's more to do with ignorance is bliss. When you're 24, 25, see, I mean, it's not like there's so much to lose. So while yes, experience can really help to start something, but you optimize for a lot at that point of time. When you're very young, I mean, you're really like, it's okay. What is there to lose, right?
So
And
young Indians buy life insurance at 24, start at 24. I and Shivam were talking about something in the morning that will stay in WhatsApp of what to do at 24, 25. But buying life insurance, everyone knows cheapest rates, you are healthy.
Yeah.
And now, I
Start
think
at
that's
24.
that's a meme and t-shirt material.
But then, see, at 24, sticking to something like at that age,
25, I was 25,
yeah. So, like sticking to like having that conviction that I'll stick longer with it because see, we like in your journey so far, you've seen that like you read UPSC, you tried that, then you went to a startup, and now you are coming to the third thing, right? So, and that one's short duration. So, how did that happen? That okay, let me just stick to it, or
You mean to say, how did I know that will this grow or will this make it big or
or
is
no, 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 because see, a lot of times people start, but like in some time they lose the energy, right? And then they are like, ah, yeah,
right? Again, I think the civil services journey is like sort of priming you for patience and focus, right? Because you're passing out from an engineering college pretty good. All your peers are earning like you know really well, and you're
I am looking at the left side of the screen.
I mean, you're sitting there without having any understanding where this is going to reach. All you have is some hope that this will take you somewhere, or that you will learn something in this process which will help you someday. So I think that journey has sort of and the ups and downs are crazy because the exam comes once in a year, and you don't clear that exam, you're sitting idle for the entire next year. It's not idle, but then there's
Yeah,
so
yeah,
much mental journey that you have, peer pressure, family pressure. If you are a woman, there's pressure about marriage.
yeah,
um,
yeah.
it's it was hard for me to probably go for functions or events. People would be asking, what are you doing? And then I didn't have a real clear answer. Civil service preparation is not like a solid answer always. I mean, or they would look at it as a very, oh, which attempt are you giving?
Yeah.
Which stage did you reach? So then it's like a lot of drilling down. So it was a very, I think, a complex journey, and I think I was able to do justice to it, right? I mean, even though I didn't clear it, that's a different thing altogether, but I gave a good 2.5 3 years to ensure that I give it a shot and see, can I make something out of it. So that similar thought process, whatever you seed in, you need to give it some time to see whether can this work or not. You don't have to be foolish enough to try forever. You also need to
Yeah.
know when to exit. That's very important. But you need to give it some time to nurture it and figure out. So I think that was all that I was trying to do.
So was civil service the first, like a time that you had spent a lot of energy on something, or like there were times before in your life also where you had put some goal for yourself and you had spent a lot of time and energy on that, or were you like the one person who had always aced every exam, and so this was.
No, of course not. It's not like that. I think, see, engineering was also not so easy, right? It didn't come so easy. I guess it was a huge transition for us from, say, how living in at home. You have all the support ecosystem, food, everything reaches you. You just need to study, right?
How was your life in Calicut actually? You came outside the comfort of your home actually. How
Right.
did you feel in India? Had you ever been in India before you came to Calicut?
So up to the age of 8, I was in India, like
Acha.
8 year old. Then 8 to 18, I was in Dubai. But I was constantly just looking to come back to India. So I
Acha.
think that helped. Uh,
Hmm.
you can assume because of the civil services, and somewhere I was, it could be a very mature thought back then. I just wanted to be closer. I wanted to be back in India for some reason. In
Hmm.
fact, even now, like my entire family is outside of India. I think in my father's side, I'm the only, like in my generation, I'm the only one, and when my parents generation, nobody is there in India. So only my grandparents are in India. So I think it was some weird thought that I wanted to be back in India. So adjusting in Calicut was not at all a problem. Anyway, it was in Kerala, that's my hometown, so that didn't matter. But I think anywhere in India I wouldn't have had a problem. So because post that I was in Delhi, I was in Chennai. Weirdest. So civil services, the kind of room that I lived in Mukherjee Nagar, you wouldn't believe the kind of stuff. It was,
Can you talk a little bit about it?
so the room.
Can I rename you as Medha Shankar? No, I cannot. Chalo.
So the room did not even have a window.
Oh.
And I don't know if that's common in Delhi because of the climate. I'm not sure, but it did not have a window. It's a girls' hostel, sort of. And so the food, it was a second floor of, so there's a balcony like area. So there's a basket which you just push down, and the food would come in that up, and then you'd eat it. And the cleanliness is like, so you don't even have to talk about it. You get out and then you'll see like
That bad?
100 cockroaches.
Oh my God. And I thought the canteens of NITs were known for
Oh,
their
no.
reputation
It
for
is like next level clean and beautiful that way. There's no comparison at all.
bad
And
memories.
this was, and I was so scared because there were monkeys in that area, and but I couldn't shut the door fully to sleep because there's no ventilation at all, right? You had to leave the door a little open. There's a main door. I'm talking about the room car door. I would actually hold the pepper spray in my hand and sleep. So if a monkey comes, I can spray.
Oh,
Oh man.
I was so scared of monkeys. So
Oh man.
that, I think, so that also, I guess, primed me for because again you need
So
very little.
now the pepper spray helped you, the monkeys helped you. Did the turtleneck, and you're talking about staying hungry and now staying foolish, did Steve
Yeah,
Jobs also help you? Because
yeah.
I'm seeing you in a turtleneck, and now you will talk about Steve Jobs in the next Three, two, one,
my
go.
God. No, 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 no. I had no idea about all that. I think I was just sticking to Indian ecosystem. That's it. Whoever was here was within my, ambit. And
Who is your role model in the CEOs?
oh God, that's really hard to say. There's so many people, right? I mean, you pick so many interesting things from, but in Indian ecosystem, I find like
Name a couple in India. Name a couple in the US or global
maybe
stage.
more to Indian. I follow them more. I think
Sure.
Mukesh Bansal is somebody who I really admire, like for the kind of products that he built, like
Yeah.
Savitra and then Cult. I'm like such a power user of these products. I think Cult. I've been following using them like for the past 7 years. So somebody who can build such lovely products, I think I really follow him a lot. Abroad, I guess I read about a lot of people. It's not like I have a very specific one person. I think I've read about Steve Jobs, Mark Zuckerberg. I am not able to like really pinpoint. I think everybody had their own uh, what do you say strengths and interesting stuff that they did. Yeah.
Okay, so coming back to your journey, right? So you said that you were discussing with your co-founder about my US, and so from that discussion to actually making the jump that yeah, now it's the time. Like how long was that duration, or what was happening in that duration?
So by then, I think I was used to jumping into stuff and doing the
So did you do anything before this as well, or like this was the thing?
as in
As in, like, did you try other
He wants
startups
to
as
get
well?
the
Or like,
skeleton. He wants to get a skeleton of failed startups from your mouth.
no, 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 no. I hadn't done anything before this. So this ideation happened, and I think we just started figuring out who are the players in the ecosystem. Started calling people up. We had to build a logistics company. Means we need to know how the logistics work. We need to have a warehouse. So I think we were just trying to simply call a bunch of people in this segment to understand like what is the cost of sending to Dubai, because at the end of the day my thought was that a middle class person should be able to afford buying from India and then shipping it there.
Yeah.
I mean,
So,
I'm still finding it difficult to visualize, right? So
okay.
let's assume that you had just had the discussion regarding my US
Yeah.
startup. Then what happened after that? If you have to simplify this for me, yeah.
So the first step was I think we took an Excel sheet and put down the names of all the players in this space.
So was it like, so for example, if we are having the discussion today about my US, so was it like next day you guys came together and now chalo, let's discuss more, or like
In
you
fact, in
guys?
fact, because she's also from a business family, she's super interested to. In fact, we were, school friends from school, and I still remember in school times we used to. There was a shopping mall that we used to go to, and then there was an ice cream vending machine there, and we used to think at that point of time, "Ki, can we start this?" It was so nice to have like 1 dirham ice creams, which was like not that possible. It was so affordable, right? So I guess there was for me it's a very developed interest. For her it's a very natural thing because she comes from a business family. And then post that this happened, and then she also super excited because she's a user of myus.com and she loves that product. So she also kept thinking how to get Indian stuff, but she was also not sure. So somewhere I think we both had an idea which was super exciting for us because we could relate to the problem.
Yeah.
So
So
you
that
would
was the one key.
spend time after office on this, or like,
Yeah, yeah. So after office, we spend time on like discussing and things. And I was also at a juncture to kind of either go for a higher studies or go back to civil services preparation, sort of a juncture.
okay.
Still figuring out. I was not very clear what to do. So I was anyway planning to resign at that point in time. In fact, I think I'm
And
going to
this
get
was
my
which month?
safari.
Like, would you remember? Like around which
It
month?
was around October 2016. Yeah,
Mhm.
somewhere around that time. And I remember, so we identified there was this company called Shop and Ship by Aramex. Uh,
Acha. Haan, RMX was a big, very big name.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So they have a vertical called Shop and Ship, which does exactly same.
Drop shipping,
Yeah, yeah, similar parcel forwarding. So they have
freight forwarding, parcel forwarding. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, they have that. So we randomly visited their warehouse and then just said that can we.
RMX are they're a big Malayali customers, so they have a huge base across India where they serve all the shipments, both for logistics as well as for medical services.
Everything. So they are a publicly listed company in in UAE.
In IBM, I led the vertical of travel and transportation and freight
Oh,
and logistics. So
okay.
Aramex, UPS, DHL,
Right.
FedEx, they're all my customers. I've
Oh,
met,
interesting. Very interesting.
lucky enough to meet Fred as well. I knew Aramex very well. I did not know it will come up somewhere here
Right.
in the discussion. Very good to know. So,
Yeah. So
you
these are
saw
the
Aramex.
starting points. So we said we'll just go and see the warehouse just to understand.
Mhm.
Interestingly, I'm just trying to think back. They actually took us inside and then
Shivam, you came to a CEO's office gate,
Yeah, yeah,
and then interesting things happened. He
yeah.
came to an NIT Calicut senior's gate. He's a CEO of a company.
okay.
I'll take the name Kenna Metal, and
Yeah.
he's a CEO. Shivam led the cars, the Baha SAE cars group, and he wanted to raise some funds. He had talked to that person. He reached to his person's head office in Bangalore from
So
Calicut.
they have, so I'll tell. So basically, Metal is a MNC company. They're like GE, right?
Kenna
They
Metal,
make,
everyone knows, brother. They're a
yeah,
multi-billion-dollar company.
yeah, yeah. So the country head of Metal was from our college,
Hmm.
and he said that he will fund our club.
Okay.
But after that, he was not like there was some communication that was not happening. We were not getting any. So I decided one fine day that I'll go to Bangalore to Metal and I'll just say hello to him. So I
Wow.
reached the security gate of Metal and I told that I want to meet the country head. So he's like, who are you?
BTech, sir, BTech third year, roll number 1, 2, 3, 4.
And they let me in, right? Matlab, the country had like I still remember his name. His name is Santanu Medi. So he
Right.
was 84 graduate, I think 83, 84 graduate of Calicut, and he said, okay, let them in, and he wrote a check for us. So as like yeah, but I just got lucky because I knocked at his door. But
Wow.
I feel that you also had very
Now
good
that
luck.
destiny strikes, Nikita. Why I was telling this for Shivam is that, of course, we had a longer discussion that all the CEOs who all of us meet, they're really passionate, hardworking, determined, and diligent. And I can use all the adjectives in English that I learned while preparing for CAT. But there's a little bit of luck as well. When you say fortune favors the prepared mind, I know we have taken a detour. We'll go back to how lucky you were to. So yeah, come have a look. Be my competitor. Be my guest.
Right. I mean, I think, yeah, I agree.
Their
Luck is there.
security did not stop you or anything. Huh? Here you can't go to Mintra warehouse. They'll stop you at the gate.
Right, right. We tried that also, so it didn't happen.
Tell us those stuff. That's where people will eavesdrop. That's what people love to hear.
Yeah, yeah. So I think it's a concept that I recently heard, right? Increase your luck surface area. So you just, you know,
Exactly. Now both of us listen to the same podcast. Now we know. We have the same common interest.
right. So yeah, we just walked up there, then they showed us around, and then oh, that was interesting because never seen a warehouse like
Yeah.
before
Oh.
that. So day one, I would say was that. Then we put an Excel sheet with all the.
You went there, or your partner also came from
Yeah,
Dubai to
yeah.
India.
No, it was in Dubai. Their
Oh,
warehouse.
you went in Dubai. So Dubai has a very open kind of
Yeah.
culture. Not that.
So you
Yeah,
resigned before
I'm
doing
still
this?
trying to think how did we get in, or was it like we say that we wanted some partnership, or yeah, I think yeah. So they had warehousing solutions. So
Acha.
we said that we're looking for one, and we wanted to see how the facility is that way, and
Wow.
we were
Hmm.
able to. Yeah, they said yeah, we'll give you this space, and like we'll put managers, something of that sort.
Just to bring same thing here, right? I make it a habit that I visit all my vendors,
Hmm.
and a lot of times we are very small, right, as a customer.
No,
So
he's not. He's a
yeah,
very humble guy. I
no,
know him
no, we're
very
really small. In our market, we're really small. So a lot of times it happens that I just went and knocked at their door, and people are so warm, right? Or maybe we get lucky too. Like sometimes we didn't get, but most of the time it worked out, right? Just knocking someone's door is so helpful.
Right, right. That's true. I think that's what we that's what we pretty much did for the first few months, just going around talking to people, knocking their door and seeing their facility, learning stuff. There was no other way, right? I mean, how else would you know how a warehouse looks, how it operates, what you need to do?
And
So
by this time, had you resigned or like you were like still
yeah,
working?
I resigned by then because I'm a very impulsive person. I've
Um,
decided this is what I want to do. But
mhm.
I guess if I had to look back, that was not really necessary again. I think
Mhm.
we could have figured out without that.
Mhm.
Shivam is now worried. Does Ved have the same risk appetite? Yeah. Jump from the chair. Yeah, maybe I can
Right.
fly. Then Ved realizes he cannot fly. He's not a butterfly. Oh my god. Then he starts clutching at himself.
Yeah. He's taking his
Just make him wear a cape. I think he can do like this and it's shoo.
he doesn't know he'll try to fly also.
Yeah.
What nice. So okay, so around October
Aramex journey.
you
Aramex.
have
Aramex
started
comes to the picture.
2016 and now you're visiting people's warehouse. Then
Right.
when do you
So
think
then we started coming up with companies like myus.com. How many of them are there across the globe? Just to get a sense of what this industry is, what are the features they offer, what are the services they offer. Then what else did we do? Then we attended a tech summit in Delhi.
Oh my god.
You're already doing a startup, no? You need to be part of
yeah.
So do
Makes
you,
sense.
do you remember the name of the summit and what it talked
No,
about?
it was at Icon
Oh
Tech
wow.
Summit.
Mhm.
I remember because now we need to know what is happening in the industry. So hope was you'll get to meet somebody who will.
Tell me one thing. Was the Make My Trip founder on the stage? Because I was in the audience. Did I meet you?
No, no, no.
Man,
When
like
when
this
we
is.
went, it was Travis from Uber who was on
Oh
the
Okay.
my god!
stage.
Thank God.
Wow.
Because I was sitting right behind, and there was another icon. Take it. Hmm.
So many
Nice.
of them. Yeah. So we attended that. So then we narrowed down to probably we'll operate out of Bangalore.
Ah.
Within a span of like 2 3 months, we felt that that might be the right place because Mumbai is very expensive. Delhi also didn't really serve a purpose as
Mhm.
such as the location
Realistically,
for cross border was not
Yeah.
particularly better there. Kerala, my hometown, that was also an option for us, but the e-commerce at that point of time was very slow. In first mile delivery was not,
Hmm.
very
Hmm.
strong that point
Hmm.
of time. So Bangalore seemed like a place where we could get a head start. So we narrowed
did any either of the founders have any connection in Bangalore at that time or like
nothing.
you guys just landed in Bangalore? Let me just go
So
to
I just landed in Bangalore, and then so my idea is that okay, there's nobody doing business in my family, right? All you know is from seeing movies and stuff like that. So I said we need to have an office space. We need
wow.
to have a bunch of computers. We need to have people to sit there.
Oh
So
man.
this is like the thought process, and then what we said was like, okay, we'll outsource the entire the platform building to a company
Mhm.
because both of us are not like coding background.
Ah.
We're not a tech coder
Ah.
kind of a background, so we didn't want to waste time sitting and coding at that
Yeah.
time. So we um, spoke to a bunch of companies which would develop applications for you. So they'll just quote from say 50,000 to say 50 lakhs. You can find people
Mhm.
doing.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Right? So we spoke to a lot of people and finally figured out in Kerala you'll get it much cheaper. So
Yeah.
figured out one of the options there. And I'm just trying to think how immature we were back then. A company like myus.com, which built over a period of 20 years, they're like
Yeah.
pioneers in this. What we said was we want exactly a platform like that,
Wow.
2 months, under 2 lakhs.
No, this is the time when I opened my diet coke.
Seriously, I mean, I'm just trying to think that it's such a funny thing to do, and then so that was somewhere around January 2017. We had closed the deal.
Tell me you kept a straight face saying that. Don't tell me you kept a straight
Wow.
face saying that.
Seriously. I mean, we have no idea about anything, right?
Just right click, copy HTML, remove all the images, put my images. That's all.
I wish they knew that. They didn't do that. It was hard for them to. I mean, when you dig deeper, the application has so many levels. They have a warehousing module. They have, you know,
Inventory modules. They have the lead time. They have the lag time. They have the leads coming in. There's a CRM module there. There is a customer fulfillment queries, chatbot, the integration themselves will make the page so laggy and buggy, and that the experience
Wow.
will suffer. Then the mobile interfaces tell me,
Yeah.
without telling me that I have worked for IBM for decades, years. I've seen some of the biggest and the slowest portals and the fastest and the youngest portals.
Wow.
So that's the reason I said. So there was a company. There's a very large startup company, not startup, very mid-tier IT company called UST Global.
Yeah.
UST Global is very big in Kerala and Trivandrum, and so
Right.
IBM. There are very large IBM partners. Why
Yeah.
I'm telling this, because the best developers, Shivam. If you ever want to hire, I'm not their ambassador. Come on, they're not paying me for saying this. But Shivam, if you ever need the best developers, and if you ever look to Kerala, look at UST Global and the catchment pool that they have, the
Wow.
sharpest minds.
Wow.
So they have offices in Calicut and Trivandrum and you name it, wherever. So
Wow.
so I know that, because
Yeah.
Nice.
then that good to
Nice.
know
Yeah, like at some point, I'm also thinking that I'll probably open an office in Kerala as well because they have good talent pool, right? Not
that.
the,
Yes, best
yeah,
talent pool, and very Kerala is anyway the I
it's
know
beautiful
I'm
also.
now missing
Nice
Kozhikode
place.
for 5 years of PhD there, but it's the Europe of India. Kerala, people know it's the highest literacy rate and whatever and stuff. And but now, so if I summarize it here, so in industry analysis, when you do strategy, there's something called as industry analysis. And industry analysis, they have Potter's five forces: set of entrants, ease of entrance, how easy it is to enter, how what is the entry barrier, the exit barrier, all the stuff. First, to capture market, then you try to study the market. So now you know that Malayalis is a very strong demand. So you identify demand. You know that there is good catchment area. You know where the supply will come from. So it's like being Netflix. So you know the movies in the genre: horror, romance, whatever, sci-fi. Then you know who is Shivam Gupta, what he has watched. Now it's just meeting these two
Right.
and just being the interface. So Shivam, to answer or to supplement that, she knew her sharp brain could get that capture market
Sure. Why not?
of all the madam. So tell me, it is 99% or 98% Malayalis ordering from shopred.com, or it is 99.9?
Interestingly, it's not so. Although we started
That's that's where the Alfred Hitchcock story takes a turn. Now you get into the picture.
So yeah, so
Now you
you give them this order that you want to get the
yeah,
site,
so
and
that
this is
happened.
January 2017, I
Yeah,
would
and
say.
that's when I moved to Bangalore, right after this discussion with a bunch of companies in Kerala.
And
So
have you raised any funds till now? Like, how is it?
no, nothing. So
So how did this 2 lakh, like, how was this 2 lakh coming?
so that was coming out of our pockets.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, it had to. There's no other way.
Mhm.
So then, would you say after I reached Bangalore? So, like I said, office and computers are my priority there,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Operating like a person doing business. So I think that's when I actually saw the entire Bangalore back then because
which year was this?
it's 2017 early
Oh,
because
very good.
I guess I'd check the No Broker or the or any of those websites. In fact, somebody would call me and then I would sit on their bike and then just like the broker bhaias will be there. I'll be like traveling around to find a place to, start.
No broker for office. You didn't go for, I don't know, no product plugin, WeWork or something of that sort. You didn't think WeWork was nice enough. It was too expensive, no?
Of course.
Good
That's,
to know.
no, but
Right,
I
right.
think the other caveat for us was that we needed some space for
Yeah. Anyway, you have zero revenue. You don't have venture capital fund to
not
burn.
only
So
that,
yeah.
we needed some space for warehousing. So if we are
Ah.
doing a co-working, we would not be able to store the. Uh, uh,
Oh, okay, very good. I love this story. Like that's what Murthy said, that we just needed a telephone line and a computer, and then I can start Infosys from anywhere. But he chose Bangalore because it's cooler there.
yeah.
So he didn't. I think he's hinted that the engineers in Bangalore are cool. I know Shivam, engineers in Madhapura is also cool. That's not the case, but there's a smile on his face
So
now.
you came in January 2017 to Bangalore. Right, right. And
Right.
then how it happened?
By around February, we found a place in Koramangala.
Wow. And where
PGL.
were you staying until then? Like, what were you doing?
I was staying in an Airbnb with with a I think the lady, she was a Unani
Wow.
practitioner with some deep she was doing her PhD in astrology at the age of 65 or 70 of So, and it was very interesting to have conversations with her. I learned some astrology in that process. I find such sciences a little interesting. So, that was happening in parallel. Morning, I'll go find places. By evening, I'll be back, spend some time with her. Parallelly, some research happens. So, the website folks, somehow it was just not progressing, right? It was just, yeah, I mean, and it
Yeah,
was
You had found the warehouse, but you had not found stuff to keep in the warehouse till now.
nothing. I mean, we,
So
we
how did you know how many square feet you require?
I don't know.
Sorry, engineering question.
I know, very valid question. I think these were the things that was running in my mind. But yeah, we just took a calculated guess, which was really not necessary. Today,
Koramangala is the most expensive property in Bangalore. You could have taken near Whitefield or near Yelahanka. This is the cheaper ones.
all
When you,
cool startups are here now.
but the warehouse is acha, theek.
It's not a warehouse, so we just took a first floor of a house.
Acha.
Huh.
Hall
It
is
was
like
a
a
Yeah,
full
it
floor.
was like a 3 BHK, like
Huh.
a space. That's it. And one of the rooms in that house, I was staying.
It's called builder floor, right? Builder floor.
No,
What's this?
this is just a normal,
Normal floor. Acha.
yeah, normal house with a first floor. And I was staying in one of the rooms. That's it. So then now I got an accommodation
Nice.
inside the office. And interestingly, I still remember the so and we had some Saira from her my co-founder from her some other business had some computers like left, which was in Kerala, but which was not being used. I went and picked up all that stuff and installed it in, the Koramangala office, whichever, whatever we said.
I can imagine you would put in like CD drives or floppy drives and be installing Windows 7 and then.
Yeah, yeah, everything. It was like, I think I still have the first look of the office space, me and a bunch of computers.
Oh man, that's so amazing. It's like a Sabir Bhatia and the Hotmail look and that man.
Yeah,
Instagram that one, yeah. That
yeah.
will be so amazing, so cool.
Seriously, seriously, it was
Have
really,
you
really
have you kept that place or have you vacated
oh,
it?
we vacated. That was
But that's
some
great
time back.
memories.
But yeah, so that happened, and then I think I was sitting in front of the computer, and I realized that nothing's happening. Really, the website is under development, but then how long do you keep paying rent without any money coming in, right? And then
Yeah.
the
So
realize
how long was it before you realized this?
so we took this place somewhere in mid of Feb. Okay, by March, things were like, okay, interesting. Nothing's happening. We're supposed to do business, right? Like we're supposed to get customers and stuff. Nothing's happening.
In 1 month, our patience ran out. People
But
who
I
struggle for
think,
years.
yeah,
But
but I think it's because of the wrong thought process. Because you think that you need an office, you need a bunch of
You
computers, you
don't.
need a website to operate, right?
You don't.
So one fine day, I think we broke that ceiling, and that was very important for us.
so who broke it? Like, and how did you break it?
So both of us, I don't really remember the specifics, but we said we can't keep waiting for a website to come someday, and it was still not getting completed for a pretty long period of time. So by March end, what we said was not I think March middle somewhere. Then what we said was oh, by then we had also hired a couple of people, by the way.
Oh
Wow.
my
So
god.
what are they doing?
So when we started Shopry, I think one of the things that we wanted to do was create a repository of um, shopping options for the consumers. If they come on the website, they should be able to see where all to shop for what all stuff. Say clothing is from these stores. So we just took 3, 4 data entry part-time people to just collate this information. Like
It's like the making
Three,
yellow
four
pages of all.
people in
yeah,
an office. 3, 4 people and an office.
yeah, 3, 4 people.
How much were you burning every month?
No, they were all like really part time and like really low cost. But then, so that was happening in parallel. So then, that's when the ceiling had to break, right? It doesn't make any sense. And what we said was, let's do one thing today. What is it that we have, and what can we do today to operate? And we said that, look, Facebook is a platform. I can create a Facebook page saying what we are trying to offer. If anybody wants the service, they can ping us on chat and we can give them a virtual address, and that's all
Yeah.
we really need.
Yeah,
Stuff
you
out.
can have your relatives as second and third employees, as one of the person in the chat room did, and took orders on Facebook, sat on scooter, went and delivered. One of the relatives, he didn't even compensate the relatives the Diwali bonus also. I think they'll ask him Diwali bonus this year.
That's what, right? When I started, right, we didn't think of website. We were like, there's a Facebook page. You start an ad on it, and that's it. You
But
run.
I think that's like really amazing that if you were able to think that on day one, like we were not able to think that on day one.
Right.
So
But
it
I think, like, I would not say it was day one for me, because that was, by the time I was doing this, this was around my fourth trial of doing a startup,
wow.
right? So I at least figured out that you don't need a lot of stuff to do something.
Right, right. See, retrospectively, if I had to think, I could just have given the virtual address of my home.
Yeah.
So I could have just sat at home, worked during the day, and evening I could have just done this, tested this, right? But did a bunch. Well, I mean,
Happens, right?
nothing
Definitely
is right
happens,
or
right?
wrong, but that would have been a much better
Huh,
way to test
huh,
stuff.
huh, huh.
Right, right.
So
In
Shivam,
retrospective, you can see, you can correct a lot of
Hindsight,
things.
yes,
Right,
everything.
right.
I see one of the question of Shivam that he wanted to check was the who was the first employee. Now she will say data entry operator, who she does not remember, who she fired the moment she got the actual
No,
nice
no,
first employee.
there's two people from there are still here.
That's what I wanted to know. Tell us about your first employees.
Yeah,
Because a lot of
so all were four girls. Okay, and
data entry operators, yellow
yeah, they
pages.
were engineering pass outs who were trying to find a job.
Yeah.
So how
So
did you find them? How did you like? Where did you find them?
I think I don't clearly remember. Some reference was there.
Yeah,
I
because
think,
a girl, single girl living in Bangalore, very unconventional. I know it's very tough to get a home. Bangalore is still very open. It's kind of conservative. Single girl in Bombay, you are dead.
oh, is
Living
it?
is even you are absolutely. I am 38. I am single. I'm a boy. I have my mother and my family still living here. They give me otherwise they say, oh, single boy, oh my god, all the bells and whistles go in their head. So single girl living in Koramangala or taking a place, and then two boys come up and they or two girls come up and do them coding. So
Yeah.
the landlord would be like the biggest god. We should all worship that landlord who gave you that such a nice flat.
Right, maybe that's right. You're right about it because now that I think of, in fact, you know what happened was the first person we hired that was through, I think, of some job portal. I don't remember, and
Huh.
she was in Hyderabad, and she came to the office, and my computers were also not set up that day. It was
Wow.
just in the
Love
process.
it.
We just unloaded everything from the from the Kerala office to here.
So I told Shivam a quote from Marilyn Monroe that if you don't love me when I'm at my worst, you don't deserve me when I'm at my best. So
Yeah.
if someone stuck with you when you were at your worst, when you were just starting up,
No, no, we didn't. That's what happened. So she came.
oh
It
no,
was
come
her,
on,
I think it was her first job. She got a shock because she's flying in all the way from
Wow.
Hyderabad
Yeah.
and she sees this, and her expectations of a job is shattered there. Like,
oh
it's,
no.
it's a house
I was
that
like, she loved you and hugged you, and then that's the story started. Oh no,
no,
my
and then
my film
that
ended
was like
immediately.
a realization for me, right? I mean, I was like, it was painful for me also to
Huh,
feel that okay, whatever we are offering is not, it doesn't,
huh.
it was not getting accepted by.
Indians require a lot of polishing, maybe.
But I mean, to be fair, it was her first job, and she's very young, like probably 21, 22, and then she's
huh.
coming all the way from Hyderabad. So, you're looking at corporate offices, and all
Right.
you see here is like a first floor house which is messed up. And so I think I wouldn't I
So
wouldn't judge her.
that means your landlord took a bet on you, and that's a very big bet.
Yeah.
He must have taken the rent anyway, right? So,
Yeah, but giving it to a single lady and then living alone, safety requirement, people coming in, things happening. A lot
Yeah.
of landlords today will think
yeah,
twice. They'll say,
yes.
bring your papa, bring your brother,
Especially in
bring
conservative
someone.
areas, it's very difficult to find a
Entire
place.
Right.
Bangalore, there are horror stories. If you read through what
Yeah.
rooms and rents and all the Facebook
And
groups.
I didn't even have an adult accompany. I meant to say like a
Yeah,
man
yeah.
in that sense to say stand to talk for me. It was just me and talking to somebody who's like, say, 70 years of age of their
Yeah,
entire
you could sit in
family.
a restaurant and ask for a check,
Then
and they will say,
think
"Will you pay the check, or will someone come else to pay the check?" There is a popular comedy clip where they say someone
Right.
else is paying the check. So,
like,
sorry, Shiva, please go ahead.
one issue that I faced, right, when we were starting, when we were trying to find a warehouse or a house where we could store our stuff, was that a lot of people would not allow you to do some sort of business from the place that you're living.
Yeah.
Right? And if your owner could allow you to have an office as well as live there, that's really good.
No, but I think they were transparent in the beginning itself that
Ah.
it would be a office come
Yeah,
work.
that reduces your chances of finding a place.
Yeah, that's true. That's
Ah,
true.
ah.
That's
It's
fair.
like the Menlo Park headquarters. I think Menlo Park, where they start and they say we live here, and that's where the Menlo Park is the story of the movies. So of course you can have a GST ID all at the residential place as well. You can just have a clause in your rent agreement and saying that we can use it for commercial purposes. They say
Yes.
it's for domestic, but you can always do that. That's where all the legendary. But yeah, someone in Bangalore. Why I'm saying this is again, I'm repeating. I'm not trying to say you folks are amazing. You folks have done amazing work, but a lot of time when I talk to Shivam, I know that was a 3 hour long podcast. He said, and we both felt, we had a meeting of mind, a meeting of hearts. We felt that, यार मैं कितना lucky था ना. When you said that, nah, yeah, the landlord, that's when people realize that of course there's a lot of hard work. There's no disrespect towards that,
Right.
but then the ecosystem comes together.
Yeah.
Why is because there are others who may watch this, listen to this on Spotify or anywhere channel, any platforms. They, if they feel demotivated, or that's when your passion goes away, that's when the discipline starts. When the passion and discipline both go away, that's where the right brain starts.
Hmm.
Right brain says, why do I exist, why do I do this? There have been situations when people say कि यार मैं क्या कर रहा हूँ, sorry for speaking in Hindi if you don't understand it, मैं
Mhm.
क्या कर रहा हूँ, मैं क्यों कर रहा हूँ. I tell people, if you feel, if you have that real, you are born twice. One day when you say, when you just sit up and say, why the hell am I doing this? And if you have that moment, they can leave the podcast. They can, that life is transformed. That's where they realize that they have been whiling away their time. Or the other one is when they realize the true purpose.
Right.
That's where you are born again. And then there's no force in the world who can stop you. When you realize how fortunate you have been,
Yeah.
to keep pushing. That's where people feel, why? Because Shivam, just one more minute. Huh? I'm not
Sure,
taking too much
sure.
of your time, I hope, because our what post Instagram or post Facebook, so life is 99% brickbats, 1% success. That's all people who have struggled. They have found that 192 and CSAT 1 and 33 not even clearing the cutoff in another. So there are a lot of written civil services 6 times, five the entire general category quota. Life is so when you had 99% failure rate, post internet, post, and I was before internet guy. I got my internet at the age of 2004. I was in class 12. That's where I got to know there's something called internet. So 2004, there was no internet in India, and I
Yeah.
was in class 12. I just passed 12. For me, internet was going to punching in. And there used to be internet parlors those days. You come
Cyber
and say,
cafes, yeah.
you
Cafe.
the cyber cafe. In my place, internet parlor. Now I've gone to parlor. I have gone to get my cut, and then you put in your ICSE number, and then you get an ICSE result.
Yeah,
So post internet, what we have seen is that Instagram, Facebook, success stories, promotion, social media, ads, spending. So 99% success stories. Everyone is doing so good.
Hmm.
So what youngs, and the competition is too much. Spotify, ChatGPT can do a lot of stuff. You don't need to do a lot of stuff. So now, because a lot of bare minimum stuff is done, so the competition is at the very top tier. So the demotivating factor is too much. When they hear a CEO say, "Yeah, I was so lucky, na," that's when they realize the people who are working 10 times harder than you. I feel that there are 10,000 people who come to Mumbai every day, 1,000 people for past 100 years or past 10 years, or 1 lakh people who come to Mumbai every day. So there are like 365,000 people coming every for the past 10 years, 36 lakhs people. At least there would be 100 people who have worked harder than Shah Rukh Khan or Amitabh Bachchan. Why there's only one Amitabh Bachchan? I know his home is right here, not right here, a little bit away. Why there's only one Shah Rukh Khan? Why there's only one Amitabh Bachchan from Allahabad? Why there's only one Shah Rukh Khan from Bangalore? It's not that they're not working hard enough. It's not that all of them do not have any work ethic. They are just lazy people. They are not good at acting. No, Is that being at right place, right time, and that one landlord who takes a bet on you, that one CEO who says, who is in that city, who might be traveling, who in that city, who again lets you in, who again figures out a power bank for you. There's a smile on someone's face. That's when you realize how fortunate someone is. And that fortune kind of humbles you, brings a bit of gratitude in you. And
Right.
because a lot of people feel after success that I have got what I deserve. That's what the English cinema, English films teach you. That I have $1 million, I have worked. It's like I give you 5 rupees, you give me Parle Ji. I deserve it. You've not done a favor to me. If I say you have done such a great favor to me, then politeness or niceness is seen as being weak or being um, gold digger, and I'm taking advantage of you. No, that's how the world works. There are people who have worked much harder than you. They may not be as fortunate as you.
Right.
Yeah, see, I would definitely agree. Time, place, people, everything matters, right? And you can get unlucky one day and your whole shop get closed,
No,
right? I
that will
think
never happen.
yeah, that's,
That
that's
things
that's one
cannot.
thing that I keep in my mind at all times, right? You have to be
Yeah.
prepared. Yeah,
Yeah,
you don't know what will happen, right?
yeah. So why I say this is because this kind of humility is kind of a missing trait in the modern age CEOs. Usually, and it's not the person; it's the social media that demolishes that,
Okay.
because they bring humility only when they want to punch up. If they want to punch up, they say, "Oh, I'm so now they can punch up somewhere." It's not. It's not. It's being saying that India has done a lot, or say ecosystem has done, government has done. The AC is working. The current is there. The traffic works. There's a lot of things at play.
Yeah.
Yes,
So
yes.
while Nikita talked about her,
Okay, yeah, coming back.
yeah,
Okay.
her intern, her
Just a
first
second.
employee.
Just a second. I think there's too much sunlight on me, right?
That's amazing, actually. That's a very good picture. If you are getting too hot, then you can
No,
change it.
I'm okay with it, but is it
That's
too?
amazing. That's very good. Actually, now we are getting very good visuals of you because there's good lighting coming to you. Actually,
Okay, otherwise I can just put
you
the
are,
thing
no,
down.
it's good. Actually, from
Okay.
now your first employee has got the first heartbreak. That's where the story resumes.
Right. Both of us have a heartbreak.
Oh no!
And yeah, that's when I decide to set up everything properly so
Wow.
that the subsequent people at least feel like sitting in this office, right?
Oh
Wow.
Yeah.
So
no!
were you the IT guy in the house or like who
Right.
did
Yeah,
Everything
yeah, yeah, yeah,
all
yeah.
in one.
Do everything, right? IT to lights to
okay.
everything. Yeah,
Did,
there.
did you ever feel, oh, why am I even doing this? What is
No,
this?
but I've done this for civil services also, no? So it's not
Okay.
like a big thing for me, right? I
Ah,
was living in such bare minimum conditions. So I think
Optimizing the heck out of anything is part of the DNA now.
yeah, this is like luxury for me, right? I'm getting a proper room with ventilation now inside the
okay.
office with a bunch of computers and internet. I think this is really good for me.
But did you for a moment not miss the wide streets of Dubai and the people there? A lot of people fall in that trap. I was talking about the
Yeah,
trap
yeah,
of a
exactly,
comfortable
right?
job.
You have lived in Dubai. Like, why didn't you miss that?
Yeah.
No, that's what I said, right? Like from a very young age, I somehow wanted to be in India, and I think in a
And
way
how,
I wanted to choose the struggle. So I'm not
so,
sure how.
and
You
can
are
you now looking
romanticizing
back?
the struggle.
Can you now looking back think of the reason why that happened to you that you wanted to choose a struggle?
Ah.
I think that it's probably very immature to even think of the thoughts that
All of us are equally immature. You fell in love, your boyfriend was here, you
no,
came back for love.
no, not at all. In
Okay.
fact, at the moment I decided to marry, I came to India, and then my marriage actually happened right after we started Shopre. And at that time itself, I told that I'll be in India doing this, and he was there in Dubai. So that had no relation. I think for some reason I wanted to.
See, this is one trait that I've seen with a lot of like people who are doing something that they always have this that I want to like I don't know whether they want to prove themselves or like they have it inside them that
Ah.
I
But
want to
it's
do.
also a thought that, like, you are privileged in some way.
Yeah.
And put that to,
And there is no shame in acknowledging the privilege. There is no
it's,
harm.
I don't know if it's shame. It's more like, you given a chance. You
Yeah.
better use it. There are people,
People want to say, I'm a self made man. I started with 0 rupees. Now I and see who I am. Yeah.
I
Sorry.
think it's like, I think I always thought there was, see, I'm having so much that so many people in India don't have the luxury
Yeah,
to, right?
yeah,
Wow,
And
that's a very different way of looking at things. Wow, that's nice.
yeah. That's amazing.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
Honestly,
I've not
I'm
heard.
not a psychopath.
Very,
Shivam knows I'm not a psychopath. I'm not. I don't say
no,
nice
no,
things to
it's
people.
a really, it's probably a very mature thought. Again, that's what I'm trying to say. But it that was the, so again, civil services also was around that, right? I wanted to
Hmm.
see if I could impact
Yeah.
the segment which was being left out. That
Hmm.
was somewhere there in the thought process. So missing Dubai, and in fact, in that luxury, I felt very suffocated. So
Okay.
at that point of time, I was not very comfortable.
Where did which part of
Again
Dubai
from
did you live in, if I may ask? Which part
Dubai.
of Dubai? Which part of Dubai?
I lived in Dera.
Oh, that's a very good area. Pretty well connected, yeah. That's where Kareem has very good access. Okay, now it's Uber now. So
Yeah.
there is where a lot of my friends lived, and it's a very well connected part. At least to the main city. I thought about Fujairah and other areas which are
No, no,
much
no, no.
farther.
So no.
IIM Indore had a campus at Ras Al Khaimah. Ras Al Khaimah has a campus. Uh, they had one fine thought that will open one campus. We have a huge Dubai student contingent of IIM Indore. And Ras Al Khaimah became the biggest point for professors to go and travel and meet people. And a lot of
Hmm.
executive meeting happened. So I thought it's in that area of other Emirates part. There is pretty close, to be honest.
Yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. I mean, absolutely. There's no. I think the life in Dubai is very. It's a very comfortable life. It's
yeah,
standards of living are really good. You
yeah.
can. Traffic is way better. Air is much more.
Now Dubai is flooding. I am thinking the desert is flooding. I could see the
Yeah,
Al Zayed road flooded. I said, can I believe this?
yeah.
That this wide road is flooded.
Right.
Now coming to think of it, that if you have nostalgia for India,
Huh.
because you are so if they say left brain and right brain, left brain can make charts and stuff. Right brain can tell you why to make charts.
Hmm.
So a lot of people who I guide for their MBAs part, I mentor them from this. They're not that privileged background,
Hmm.
so they are very good in maths.
Hmm.
I tell them that don't try to solve just the problem.
Hmm.
Try to structure the problem and frame that problem well, and try to think why a professor from IIM would set that problem in CAT. So
Right.
then you will know what do they expect from 2 minutes from you.
Hmm.
Don't try to find an exact, try to eliminate options and stuff. Why I'm saying this is because right brain, how does it work? And I'll tie it back to nostalgia and why it
Hmm.
works to Chopre. I
Okay.
tell them is that when you, if you've got 96 percentile in math, in quant, in cat, that means you're faster than 96 percentile people in solving something.
Yeah.
It means when 96 percentile people will see a problem, they'll stop. It's like having a long password. A hacker will come, a hacker will stop. They can't crack it, they will go back. So
Hmm.
96% Indians who wrote cat, they came, they saw, they stopped.
Yeah.
You went through,
Hmm.
you understood, you solved.
Hmm.
And now you went ahead to do something else. In the life as well, you'll have challenges. When 96% of the Indians,
Hmm.
of course, the entire India doesn't participate in CAT and the entire India doesn't write to PSC. But if you are in 99 percentile, the 99% percentile in Indians, I know it's a wrong analogy, but think of them as hackers. And this being a long password, they
Hmm.
won't crack it because you can see the problem differently. Now you are thinking how to solve it fast. They don't know what the problem is about. What
Right.
is engineering days ki upar se gaya. That's where the right brain thinking comes. Try to understand why he give a 10-minute problem. Then it is wasting time. Jump to some other question. Try to solve as much as you can. Same is true for CAT, same for GMAT. Right brain thinking. Right brain thinking for Shopre. I know I'm preaching to the CEO of a multi-million dollar company.
Oh God.
Is is thinking that you are selling nostalgia. Just like Coke, you're selling happiness. If you have, because if you smell Everest masala or spices or cardamom, that smell, it doesn't smell spice, that smells childhood. I know I did my MBA in marketing, and I can and I don't wear a turtleneck, but I can do a lot of brand management. But he's a market master of marketing on the other side of the screen. So when you smell that long, when you smell that dalchini,
Huh.
that's where you smell childhood. The child, so Ved relates to Ishika through smell,
Right.
nothing else. So smell is so core part of your memory. If you have seen the Inside Out movie, Inside Out and Inside Out 2 movies,
Hmm.
they talk about core memories.
Right.
That's the core memory that Ved is building.
True.
So you are, so if I get that pack of masala, if I open a nice book, I smell it. Oh man, then I okay. So that's what. So that nostalgia that brought you here, kept you here. It's a part of right brain that you don't know. That's the Johari window. I know you don't know. You don't. You know I don't know that. You know that I speak too much. I love doing that, and I love hearing myself speak. In the same way, there is blind spot that I know that you are weak and you don't know, or both of us know and you know as well. The same way, this nostalgia is a big seller.
Hmm.
The entire Indian contingent, and especially folks from Bihar.
Hmm.
Shivam, just one more minute. I'll take. I know. There are two CEOs in this. It's like riding two tigers. Both tigers want to promote their own brands. Whenever I talk to CEOs, they will start pitching their brands. I have to keep riding on the tiger. I know I'm not Durga Mata. I'm
No,
still trying to.
yeah, I was just looking at the clock actually
Yeah,
because
I'll just take a
yeah.
minute. Uh, so during freedom, that's where a lot of people from Bihar they were taken to places like Suriname, Mauritius, Guyana.
Hmm.
That's where the indigo cultivation was done. They were indigo farmers. They were enslaved by Britishers, millions of Biharis, and they were taken from the port of Kolkata to all these places. So if you go to West Indies, you'll have a player like Ram Naresh Sarwan.
Hmm.
You will have the president of Guyana like some name, which is like completely Indian names. And Indians were they brought there as slave laborers, and they worked there for hundreds of years
Right.
during the British Raj. The
Hmm.
same Indians worked in Africa as well. That's where the apartheid was there. Gandhi was kicked out, and that's where the entire revolution
Right.
started. So, of course, you are the master. You know more than me. But I have seen the modern day version of it. Why?
Hmm.
As I mentioned, I worked for Infosys and IBM. I'm not trying to compare them with slave trade. That's wrong analogy. We love H1B visa, America, yay. So, but these have so much nostalgia and so many suitcases which have empty spaces in the cabin luggage and in those luggages. They just don't know about ShopRay.
Hmm.
That's a huge, at least 100,000 Infosians take a flight and feed to the needs.
Hmm.
And they're like employee groups within Infosys. They are all unofficial employee Slack groups and Teams groups. And Infosys management doesn't matter. It's like harmless chatter. Hey, who you are going to Ohio? Take this. Hey, you are going to Oklahoma? Take this.
Yeah.
Nikita,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
hello, wake up.
Need to get to know
EGL,
each one of them.
EGL, Embassy, and all these groups are there like they are a mushroom there.
Right.
Same is true for IBM as well.
Yeah.
These two because they send at least 30,000 40,000 people out every year.
Hmm.
That's a huge. Of course, they're not. So that's beyond your Malayali base, but that's a huge Malayali. That's a huge people who go,
Right. Right. Right.
and they have huge places actually. Anyways, Shivam Gupta. Sorry, I
Just
know.
a second. I need to charge the.
Oh man, these CEOs and their chargers. There was one more CEO who forgot his charger and made the CEO of Kenametal look for a charger.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes.
Back.
Maybe Nikita thought that I'll be less talkative.
Okay. So yeah, so you are in March 2017 and trying to figure out your first employee. Yeah. So
Yeah, so that happened, and then the data entry folks came in. That was happening. Then one fine day, we decided to put the Facebook page. We announced that it's a
you're
business
doing
that
it.
we're doing. Whoever wants, just ping us on chat and
Mhm.
get the virtual address. Interestingly, that got shared and reshared, and then we got like 10 customers in like one day.
How it got shared? No, that's where the
No, I
magic
think
lies.
so. There again, what played to our benefit was we were NRI, so we obviously had a circle which are who were NRIs based in Dubai. So somebody saw that, and it was a very humble post which said that we're two young people trying to
Mhm.
start something. It's a first attempt, and like
Yeah.
forgive if something goes wrong, and a lot of terms and stuff like that.
Hey, you have to teach me how to pout, huh? I will go and ask all the dark kitchen chains, and they'll say, "Can I see your kitchen chain?" They'll say, "Hey, get out!" This 38-year-old man trying to pout and trying to be bhola bhala. You're not bhola bhala.
Yeah, I think I was 26, so that played to my advantage. So then, I mean, and it was probably a little unheard of for others that
Yeah.
two
Yeah.
women starting up and things like that. So they helped, they reshared. Parallelly, what we did was, um, I had tied up with all these folks like DHL, FedEx, and all of them.
Oh, acha, the background was done.
Yeah, yeah, that was happening in the
Add
background.
up in the sense like API integrations
No,
or
no,
like.
no, just corporate
Okay.
agreements or
Acha.
yeah, between the organizations and things like that. And in fact, they were really supportive of like startups, and they gave us really good rates and things like that. So what we did was. So the logistic part, there was if we get orders, there was somebody to take care of that.
So
Um,
we know about Goldman Sachs 10,000 women. So we have done our research.
oh,
I have already hinted about lots of stuff about my academic background. So I'm not showing off. We know a lot.
interesting.
So we will interrupt and prompt you about those as well.
No, 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 that's much later.
Huh.
So then what happened is, so we got the why. So the first post itself, we got some order from somewhere,
Ah.
somebody's second connection or third connection or
Mm.
somebody like that. Who was see? I think the key point here is your early adopters, right? They'll find out about you, however, and they will use you no matter how horrible you are.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, yeah. That's
You
true.
don't have to really worry about like being the best at that point of time.
Yeah,
Even if you don't have a website, you don't have stuff, they are craving for something that you are building, right? So this was a lady who is a sari lover based in Dubai, and she wants to shop heavily from India and get a ton load of saris there, right? And so she is okay to do anything to
well,
make that happen. That's the only thing. So that was a key learning again, right? You don't need a fancy website. You don't need a fancy office. Anything
Yeah,
like
of
that,
course.
your early adopters will find you no matter what if you just
Yes.
use some initial things. Parallelly, what we also did was, I think we have a lot of friends abroad, right? So we picked at least 10 people or 15 people and then
You
wrote to
and
them.
Sarah both. Sarah was also
Yeah,
in
yeah.
her network as well.
Right, right. So we wrote to them, DM'd them, and said that like we're starting something like this. All of them are like based abroad, and said we're starting something like this, and would you like to test out a shipment? You can pay for the stuff, but we'll ship it freely for you.
wow.
So I mean, you buy the stuff that you anyway wanted, but
Mm.
the shipping will be free for you. So at least we take care of the so at
Mm-hmm.
least somebody has to get exposed to what we are
Yeah,
doing,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
To get a sense of that, and then and a request is just put a review at the end of the.
Mm-hmm.
Just need to take. So since they're all like friends and family and things like that, most of them agree to it, and they purchase something or the other. So at least a good 10 people and their
How
feedback.
were you used to do get the saris before? Was there an untapped, unfulfilled demand, or was she able to do it from someone coming to India?
So that's what she would have to wait for
So she
somebody.
was anyway getting it from someone, but so you reduce that lead time
Right.
of
Now
new
she
bound.
could do it whenever she wants it. She doesn't have to wait for somebody to travel or for her to travel to India to procure that. She
That's
could do it
amazing.
any part of the year, right?
So you tapped an unmet demand. That's amazing.
Yeah, but yeah, that was how we started. So then I think we were able to these 10 to 20 people who we offered free shipping and things like that. We were able to get their video reviews, photo reviews, a lot of that. So
Talk
these
about consent and privacy.
no, no,
And I was requesting Shivam, sir,
It
Ved.
no, no. We asked them if they would be okay to do it. See, since
Ah, of
we
course, I
offered
know.
free shipping, they're starting off. I think the bare minimum people would agree to do is put a
Oh,
review for
yeah.
you.
Oh no.
We ensured that those experiences were really good. Like ensured that somehow they should get the product on time,
Yes, of course.
packed well, because photos are going to come out. So there would be a thank you card inside that.
Oh
Things like
man.
that. It's like
Tell
small.
me you have pictures of those cards.
I think so. I think
And
so.
tell me those are handwritten cards.
I don't really remember that now.
That
There
would be
were
so
a point of
amazing.
time when some were handwritten, some were not. But the
So
signature was handwritten, so I think the
that's
print.
amazing. So by 2026 or maybe late 2025, when Nikita will be the India's youngest billionaire,
Wow.
you know, we
Wow.
would be looking at the pictures of us first, and they would be like articles, Reddit posts. That's India's youngest
This is
billionaire, Nikita.
the time to cut.
Cool, cool, cool.
But that's amazing. You put a personal note. You created a personal touch. That's amazing.
Yeah.
So that
So
lady,
that's what we try to make that experience as good as possible from a experience perspective for the consumer. And then I think from there, so once you start operating, then you're in a different
Blood rush,
mode. Yeah.
the
Now,
rush of blood.
month one is five customers. Okay, now how do I make this 10? How do I make this 20? How do I make this 30? So that's like the mindset, mind frame that you're in. So website comes, goes, doesn't matter. Now you know
Yeah.
that there is a way to get
This
the.
is the website. Call and do.
In April, you start getting the orders then.
Yeah, in April itself, we started getting the orders. So probably we got some three or four orders in the first month. The second month, that
What kind of orders? All clothes?
mostly clothes, mostly. And home decor was a big part of it, accessories, jewelry, like very heavy. And that, so they have a, if you see, there's a community in Dubai called Sari Sakhiya Sangh. So it's actually women who love sari, and they actually wear sari to work in Dubai.
That's amazing.
Like
Uh,
many of them, like at least a couple of days in a week or something of that. So like
Yeah,
they admire sari to that extent. So we
yeah,
were slowly able to penetrate that community step by step. They had a sari function in India as well. I went for it. I had to wear a sari for that because you're only allowed if you wear a
yeah.
sari.
yeah, yeah.
So slowly we were able to get into communities.
There's a reason India is called the Silk Route. The Silk Route, clothing, fabric.
Like,
That's the part. It's not like tobacco or games or toys or merchandise and stuff. It's saris. When
right.
I went, I wore kurta pajama in Dubai and went to the Apple store. It's at the top of that mall where that waterworks happened and that TV happened. They looked at me. I said, they wear that white color stuff and that head stuff. I said, why can't I wear? So then they were like, they thought I'm like some kind of politician or something, and I was just an IBM employee. I used to wear, and then in Singapore also as well, and I made it a point to go to the Apple store so that they'll see and they feel I'm some sort of like a prodigy or something. And I made good fun of myself, and I wore all those expensive, all of those Nehru Bandh galas and stuff
Oh,
because that's where like I kept it. I have some pictures, and then they were like, good to know because they wear their ethnic clothes and they talk their own
right.
language. We should be proud of our own language as well.
Absolutely. So that was, I mean, I think it was very nice, very interesting to interact with these women who are really passionate about wearing sari and promoting sari and promoting those really authentic handlooms and things like
Yeah,
that. And in fact, they supported a lot during the COVID times because these crafters were out of work and they've
yeah.
so really interesting community that we had somehow ended up tapping
So
into.
as a part
So
of
when
my
did the website come in finally then?
Oh, that happened. So in between this, I think we did one step of progress.
yeah,
What we did was we put a landing page
Got it.
of ShopRay, and then we put a talk to chat. So from a Facebook, it went to at least like a
Yeah.
landing page with a talk to chat where people, and then further interactions all would happen on WhatsApp,
hmm.
and
So
then
I think the website builds trust, just like the trust.
really, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah.
this is very good beginning of a high trust business. That's where we can trust ShopRay. Of course, the word of mouth does a lot more than trust, but website, as you mentioned, it's a big, strong.
Yeah, but this was, see, this was like a very bare minimum version, just
That's
shopray.com
fine.
and what
That's
we are
fine.
doing. And it was nowhere close to what MyUS is doing. There's no login, nothing.
So you 2 lakh in the My US plan.
That is still a work in progress. I think we got that ready like somewhere in, I think, July, August or something, something
Yeah.
later.
2017 only, right?
Yeah, 2017. Like then also we were not happy with the version. Obviously, we were expecting
This
to.
was made on WordPress or Drupal.
No, no, no. It was a custom built on PHP Laravel kind of framework.
Ah, Laravel, very nice. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah, yeah. So that happened, and but then, like I said, our mindset was more on how to increase the consumer base. So these girls who were with me, they also started in. So all of us are only doing everything, packing and shipping, and then I think I should admire them for immediately after engineering. Again, they could also have hoped for a very fancy job, but they all helped.
So this hiring women only, was it a conscious choice or it happened?
Just happened that way.
Shivam has a factory of only women. So
I
now pitch
know.
in.
I know that's so.
This question should come to you. So he's like throwing it out. Someone asked me, why am I so amazing?
Okay, that
No, I
just
think
curious.
on Women's
Now
Day,
we want to know.
on Women's Day, we were talking about how, here in the entire office, I was talking about how
Yeah, tell us, Shivam Gupta.
a warehouse of women when we are struggling to hire women here in the warehouse.
Oh, yeah. Maybe it's just our locality, and we have got lucky again. Yeah,
Oh,
Oh,
but yeah, I think.
that's oversimplifying.
But
Whatever.
I think in our area, like, see, we have been lucky with women because we give that flexibility. We are like, if you won't come 10 days in a month, also we are okay. But you have to build that extra capacity that way.
Yeah.
But then the moment you are
what kind
okay,
of skills do you expose them to develop and
so we start with like basic, like some people don't know how to write, and we
mhm.
start with teaching them how to write numbers. Then they will start. Some people go up to using computer at very high level also,
That's
but
amazing.
most people at least reach that where they can write, read, that kind of stuff, and basic of Excel where they're able to open, enter data, and all those things. That's where they reach mostly.
That's amazing. And do you start with Telugu or do you start with English in terms of writing and
So no, no. So number writing is English only because, and then when they are like most of the things in warehouse is in English. So and but we are lucky that way that in Hyderabad English literacy is very good. So
ah,
anyone who has read up to eighth standard also is able to read English.
Wow.
mm,
See, we have a worker with us who doesn't know how to read English, but she knows. So what she has done is for every product, like she works on packing, and for every product she has put a different color rubber band on the sticker on the label, and when she'll pack that, she will use that rubber band stuff, and she'll put that sticker. So
Wow.
that way, I think that this learn like we were amazed that how will she do it, she'll need help, she'll do some mistake also. It has never happened,
Amazing.
right? So I we like when someone comes to us for work, we don't ask like are you like educated, not educated, how we just ask do you want to work, like most people will say yes and they'll come.
Wow.
But that's one challenge also that we face, that because again like they have issues in the family, festivals, relatives are coming, kids are falling sick, so you have to be prepared for all that.
Right. But I mean, the fact that you've managed to create a mechanism to ensure these,
Yeah, yeah, just
that's taken care of, I think
yeah.
that's amazing. That's
Mhm.
beautiful.
Yeah. So coming back to your thing, so yeah, so you said that like April 5 orders. Then when did you start hitting some volume that you felt, oh, now this is really working?
So that's what every month on month, we ensure that it's at least one order more than the previous month. I think that was the only thought process. At least it should be slightly higher than the previous month at any cost. So for that, we would do anything to. I think initially, I remember around September-ish, what we started doing was we figured out a lot of Quora questions were on the top when you search how to ship from India to USA. So we identified like a bunch of such questions, started answering. That started like flowing in like 50 orders. We were not even able to handle that.
Wow.
Then so you're at a stage where you want to do like thousands of orders, but you can't even handle like 50 orders. You get
Slight
stuck.
increase, yes, yes.
mm.
Yeah, so you're really stuck. So then we figured out how to do 50 orders. Okay. Then from there,
How did you figure out how to do 50 orders?
oh, I mean, all these are like learning from some shipment will get stuck somewhere. You constantly follow up. So then you realize, okay, if something does not have to get stuck, what should we do to ensure that in prior it's
On
happened?
the job training.
Yeah, exactly. And it's just me and a bunch of 3 4 people who are like who also don't know anything, who is just willing to like.
Because customs is a bigger nightmare for everyone. So anything gets stuck,
It is, but we partnered with DHL, FedEx, and all these players, and they handle majority of such challenges. What needs to be better is the documentation and
bill of
declaration.
materials,
Things like
labels, and
that.
everything.
Yeah. So if those are like really perfect, there's a better odd that things get cleared much faster and things like that. So all those nitty gritties, I think we learned like how to do like a 50 orders by the time it was like around.
What were
So
there any
the
cancellations or
50
returns?
orders was which month for you?
Ah,
much?
By
month.
which month you reach 50 orders?
Around September.
3 months. That's amazing. 4 months.
April, May, June, July.
July, August, around
Around
five.
6 months.
Five
Yeah,
months.
around 5 months.
And
I
how many cancellations out of 50?
no cancellation. So once the products come to our facility, then nobody will
Ah.
won't want to ship it, right? So
So, but all of us want to check whether someone has given me a brick or an iPhone. So, what if somebody has given you a brick and you send
right.
a brick
So
too?
we have a practice that every package that comes to the facility, we'll open it, click a
Ah,
photograph, and send it to the consumer.
then
If they
this.
don't like it, they can return it from our warehouse itself back to the e-commerce store. So that I
And e-commerce stores are cool with it. They will not block your order because they know that multiple orders are coming to the same address. Because
not
Flipkart
really.
and Amazon, they are very good. We are very sharp on the intelligence and data mining
Right.
and stuff.
We have faced such an issue very recently after a
Yeah.
certain scale. So initially 50, 40 orders and all, because see, if you
Ah.
see the typical community would have so many flats, no?
Yeah, one flat will have like, and
Yeah,
if you have a
that's
teenage
not a
son or a
challenge.
teenage daughter or
Right,
teenage son, you will have Shine coming in from somewhere, and then Mintra
right.
and those coming in. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so that's not a challenge. I think when we reached like a 20,000 packages, that's when we faced a challenge
Yeah,
very.
20,000 per package per month, not per day.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, yeah, per
No,
month.
that's just sufficient. And
Yeah,
then
that is when we faced a challenge with Mintra. With Mintra, we were not able to. Things were getting a little blocked and things like that. But
uh,
somehow consumers.
that's where their AI woke up and saying that something is wrong. How can there be so many
Right,
teenagers living in?
right,
Is it
right.
a boys' hostel or a girls' hostel in that place? And then you put them in a large box. Like if I want to buy from say 5 websites, and you
Hmm.
put all them in one box and give it to me in the US, or
Yeah, yeah. So you get a 20 days period within which you'll have to finish all your purchases. If you've done within the fifth day, that's also fine. Or 20 days, that's also
they
fine.
have like a box size. They have to fill this box
Oh,
size.
no, nothing, nothing. We'll ensure that it's packed.
I saw somewhere it has to be less than 50,000 rupees or something. I saw on your website somewhere
Those
mentioned
are based on the regulations of the customs.
medicines or something. They were you mentioned there was some certain stuff, and the others were certain
Yeah,
stuff.
there are a lot of regulations. So based on the destination country, based on Indian regulations, based on the flight regulations, based on logistic partner regulations, there are things that are that cannot be shipped.
You can then always send me two orders, like one box and another box. If it's too much for one order, you
Hmm.
can keep it for a couple of more
Oh,
days.
yeah,
And
that's right. And typically, our I think average order is like somebody shops for a 10,000 rupees type. So that never
I'm talking about the volumetric size, like the
individuals, no? We are talking about B2C individuals. So that's normally never a challenge for us.
that's amazing. The 50 orders September
Yeah,
and 2017.
Wow.
right,
See, and this is so nice, right? You started, it's almost a year, right? October 2016, you were thinking of it.
right, right, right.
And, oh, like, nice. Oh. So, did you at that time feel, oh, I have arrived? Or how was the feeling?
Oh, not at all. Then I think we slowly hired somebody for operations and
And how did you manage your personal life as well? You have 5 months in your marriage as well.
no, no, no. I got married in December 2017.
Oh,
But
okay.
my husband was in Dubai. I was
I guess you started and married same year. I thought no, an year after.
year into operations. I got
Ah,
engaged almost like around July 2017. That's round about the time we started, and then
ah. So
went.
come October 2017, you still feel you have not arrived.
Of course not. That's nowhere close to what I imagined things to be. I guess I was looking at thousands of orders pouring in.
So that's the
Wow.
reason. What was your role model? What was your true north? Like how fast you want to run? You
No,
want,
yeah,
yeah.
that's there, but I think it's more also to do with the references that you have are around companies like say Mintra or Flipkart or those kind, right? So then
Yeah,
you're obviously thinking in those terms. You're
of
looking at,
scale.
oh,
Yeah.
yeah, that's the scale that
See,
you
see,
want.
this is one thing that when I speak to a lot of people who have not started, right, they
Hmm.
have this issue that they think of scale means that only, right?
Mm.
See, what I feel is if you even if you look at a small business who's doing like maybe 5 crores or 10 crores revenue, that is also a good scale if you're
Very
bootstrapped or
good scale.
meeting your requirements. But a lot of people whom I talk to, they're like, how will you become 1,000 crores, 100 crores? I'm like, don't you think about it, right? Maybe it'll become, but you don't have to worry about it.
It's a hockey stick curve, but the first part of the hockey, that's well. Then if it hits something, Narayan Murthy, it was Y2K virus, 1999. He had lots of COBOL mainframe programmers of IBM, and 2000. Then Y2K happened. Everyone had to increase the date to four digits, and that's where the info. If you plot Infosys revenue, that's where the hockey stick happens.
Right.
AWS 2004. If you see Pokemon Go, so I was talking about Pokemon Go to Shivam as well. I was in that Google conference that Pokemon Go had reserved cloud capacity for 100 years and it was consumed in 7 days because Pokemon Go became a runaway success over a weekend. By the next
Yeah.
Monday morning, they had consumed 99 years of cloud resources.
I mean, even for us, like, the hockey stick moment came during COVID because people were
And
not
that's
able to.
still 3 years after. We
Yeah,
are still in
yeah, of
2017.
course, of course.
That's a story of
Like,
grit and resilience and perseverance and all the adjectives I can put in here.
Were you like when were you doing break even at least? Like you were able to manage the expenses.
mm, I think so. For us, we were hitting some break even, and then we would take a conscious decision
Ah.
to like keep increasing the expense a little bit more, and then again break
So when
even.
was the first moment when you felt that at least now my expenses are being met? Let me increase the expenses a bit.
I think it took at least a good 1.5 years.
Oh,
Yeah,
अच्छा, okay.
easily.
And this time, Sarah was investing like to some lakh rupees or something, or where you were only putting both of you. So
No,
you
no,
paid
no.
her back, or
She
did
is
she take
the
her
investor.
equity?
She is the investor. So then she was putting in the money. I was executing. So that was the equation.
So it's not like you pay back and you get the equity back. It's like the both. It's a sweat equity. She's
Right.
working as well as.
Yeah. Right. 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 That's true.
Great. That's amazing. That's amazing. That's a great understanding, to be honest, and patience of scale.
I think it's also, I mean, so yeah, like you said earlier, right? Luck as a factor. So one of my friends who worked with me in Gurgaon, he also happened to be in Bangalore back after like, and he's a hardcore tech.
I also happen to be in Bangalore in by 8:30 by the flight. By the this podcast ends. Just for information. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think, he spent so much time hand holding us in the initial days of our journey in terms of tech, spending time organizing the office structure, so many things. So having a person like him, like really, because otherwise you really don't have anybody to like report to or discuss and figure out
Your
what.
bandwidth gets choked by so
Yeah,
much.
and sometimes it's you don't have clarity where you're heading, right? You can't see anything ahead. It's like a very gray journey. So I think his contribution in the initial days have been like meteoric. So no way of denying that. He would come after work, say around 7:30, and we would work till say 12.
Wow.
And anyway, I was sleeping in the office. We would start like early morning 6, and he would work with us till we his office starts, which is
Tell
at.
me, by that time had TVF Pictures released season one? Huh? Don't smile. I know. I'm just 3 years Buddha than you. I'm not a senior citizen. I know what the young genre reads, what you eat, what you order. I know I have a little bit of gray hair.
Yeah, see, I would say you and I had a similar.
I know. The smile says a lot of stuff. I will have that on a different podcast. Chalo.
So because like for us also, I think help came from places of like same case in our case, right? So I needed website, and there's this friend of mine who was good at building websites, and like he just came in and he worked like he supported us for 1.5 2 years with our website. And I still remember, right, every time we had to do some upgrade in the website, me and Ishka, we would go to his place, we'll sleep there only because you have to update the site in the night. And his wife and he and his daughter, they are like, there's some party mood also, but it's more like our website has to be up the whole night. We have to make sure that it boots up. Sometimes we don't credit these people enough to
Yes.
support you so
Yeah.
much, right? Matlab, and
Right.
I can't thank him enough for what he has done
अरे
to us.
नाम ले ले यार.
Matlab, his name is Jitendra Bansal.
Nice.
So, but very nice guy, right? Matlab, and like he's one of them who has helped us but couple of people like him who are like help comes from
Yeah,
I don't know
yeah,
where,
that's right.
Yeah,
So,
right? And I don't know
without that, it would not have happened for me.
exactly, and I don't know what is their motivation in helping you, but people like go out of their way to help you.
Yeah, that's what he. So again, some people are so passionate about ensuring can creating impact, and oh, somebody is working on something. Let's just help them create that impact.
Yeah,
And sometimes it's so deep. I mean, I don't know what to say honestly.
yeah,
yeah,
and I don't know how you cannot predict when that help will come to you,
yeah, yeah.
right? And
That,
who will be that person who will become that person,
Right.
right? Yeah.
yeah,
Like for me, this guy, I used to discuss my ideas with him that I'm
Okay.
doing this, I'm doing that, and he was working in like in up in the previous company, and he started slowly helping, then kept adding value, and then for 1.5, 2, 3 years, like he did really well for us.
Wow.
Like I would sleep peacefully in the night because of him, because the website would not go down.
Awesome.
yeah. The it's bit like the culture where समझ में नहीं आ रहा, टीचर प्रोफेसर पढ़ा रहा है, पढ़ लेना, फिर आके हॉस्टल में समझा देना. That's a very popular dialogue in the hostel, that तू समझ ले, हम लोग क्लास में है, बट बाद में तू समझाना, मैगी मेरी तरफ से. That translates something similar in the real life as well, that helping each other, that kind of culture, I think that's where the role of academia, institutions, they are all places where greatest or the sharpest minds come together. That's where people meet, that's where new culture and ethos get built, that's where the trust barriers are demolished, that's where the ability to work together
Hmm.
and working for a greater cause. Like someone is trying to run a car, he doesn't have enough money, he wants to do something, let someone else will help, someone else will, it's towards a great, it's like someone helping someone else to become something larger. So without having any selfish motive, because at the very beginning stage you are so vulnerable that even a small hit can kill you. So what a lot of people who talk, who come, couple of them have been able to raise some money, and they come to me and say, bhaiya, I am in stealth mode. So there's stealth mode, stealth mode, stealth mode, stealth mode. I am bankrupt, bhaiya. Now I need 10 lakh rupees. I said, what do you do? We can't tell. We are in stealth mode. I said, who is going to raise money? You will not come to my podcast. You will not tell what your company does. You are in stealth mode. Nobody will give you money. That's it. Well, why I'm saying this is because once people help each other, that's where the networks build. That's where the funding comes. That's where the help comes. A lot of what you need money for can be done by someone else for free. You don't know.
Yeah.
You want to pay money to get something done. Someone might just do it from the bottom of their heart because they say, hey, this young kid is struggling, let me go and help.
Yeah. See, I think like your story of having your friend doing the tech for you, right? That's a very nice story of like you finding help for free. And a
Yeah,
lot of times you'd feel that you would need so much resources to get that kind of help.
Right.
But sometimes I don't know whether it's luck or whether it's serendipity
Yeah,
or whether
yeah. I don't know. And I mean, and the philosophy that he had was, see, I have enough money that I'm making right now from my job.
yeah.
Money is not what
Doesn't
matters now, I think, but my skills could be put to use at this point of time for somebody else or some organization, which can eventually employ a lot of people and then do
yeah.
that,
That
uh,
kind of culture exists very big, especially in the Bay Area,
hmm,
in Stanford, in that entire Bay Area, where the culture of helping out. One is that the culture of startups became cool in India or acceptable in India for a young girl or a young boy of a marriageable age to stay back and work in a startup. Of course, post pictures and stuff. But then, of course, it became mainstream.
hmm,
It's there in the Bay Area for a very long period. Kind of that culture of helping is exists in engineering colleges, not of starting up, but at least of innovation and jugaad. A lot
right,
of NITs and IITs are known for jugaad, and
hmm,
an IIT Bombay hackathon can do something overnight, and that can crack something else, because these young dudes they'll do something for fun, or they'll play Clash of Clans and waste the time, so they'll just play.
right,
That kind of culture I saw also in IIMs as well,
hmm,
where you can come and sit. I know you have done a certification at a particular IIM, which is not IIM Indore.
yeah,
So that college is not IIM Indore. So I came and sat in the classes of IIM Bangalore. Professor was like, yeah, because they knew I'm from Indore, and I was in Bangalore for till 2021, post COVID as well. I used to go and sit in the classes of professor on innovation, on startup, and they used to say, "You come from industry," and I have done a tremendous amount of work across industries. Remember, oil and gas industry is very niche.
Right.
What stuff I know is folks that Shell and Exxon and BP would love, and they would not have because they would not have people coming in there. A lot of people in Mittal Steel, ArcelorMittal, they're all ex-SAIL employees, still, or they are mid employees who have they've poached. They have poached government employees because government has spent a lot of time training them. A
Right.
lot of people in Tata Administrative Services, the TAS, they only hire from Exilrai and IIM Ahmedabad. They are kind of at par with IAS. It's
Hmm.
called TAS, Tata Administrative Services,
Hmm.
the cream of the cream. And they poach them in Tata Steel, Tata Metals, Tata Motors. They rotate them for 2 years across them, and then they put it in the top of the board because they have job rotation. So they are now the masters of the entire industry. Why I say this is because once you have cross domain expertise and once you have environment, that's where the fusion of ideas happen. So if you are in so Stanford is not Stanford Institute of Technology, it's a university. So you can take a course in Bharatnatyam, you can take a course in marketing, you can take a course in electrical engineering, you can take a course there as well. Can you
Right.
do that in IIT Kharagpur? No. The it's not IIT Kharagpur is not Kolkata University School of Engineering.
Hmm.
NIT Calicut is not Calicut University School of Engineering.
Yeah.
So it's not a university. It's not like, so if you go, I've been at least to a couple of universities. I've been to Dubai's universities as well, NUS and NTU as well. They are co-located.
Hmm.
What I started first at Indore, that's where the IIT Indore was coming up, and Indore was the first city to have IIT and IIM both. I said that all IIT Indore students should be able to come and sit at any class of IIM Indore. They should come. So IIMs usually have started having back doors. So they'll come and then he'll keep couple of benches vacant. They can come and sit. Of course, they cannot participate in the class. They will not answer questions, but they will listen. A
Right.
young BTech first year coming and sitting in the second year class of advanced strategic marketing.
Hmm.
Can you imagine the kind of exposure that may professors anyway speaking? Knowledge is there on Udacity and YouTube and MIT and edX and Coursera, but the way professor teaches, the human connection, that inspiration. If you see Steve Jobs and sat on the Stanford's design school,
Hmm.
and then he sat in some other classes. It's like a bit of Amir Khan in Three Idiots. When you go to, because you love to understand something, because
Hmm.
you want to apply it in a business,
Right.
or you figure out an ecosystem where people come and help because of the fun of it.
Yeah.
One is definitely folks who are very privileged, like Shivam or you, or including me, who have gone to good colleges.
Huh.
99% of India doesn't have that kind of. The seats are limited. There are only few seats in NITs and IITs and IIMs. 98% of India doesn't go there.
Hmm.
But they have the same audacity of hope and audacity of dream. If I can use the Barack Obama's book,
Yeah.
Audacity of Hope, they can also dream to be a Nikkitha or a Shivam. There's no harm. How do they get that help? How do they bring such stuff? By creating such pockets of trust, pockets of learning, pockets of skill, and figuring out people.
Hmm.
Figuring out doors are open. है, ठीक है मैं पढ़ा रहा हूँ बैठ गया क्या हो गया मेरा तो कोई नुकसान नहीं हुआ ना. If a professor is so cool and is so awesome that you will fall in love because you don't go there for knowledge. Remember, it's there on YouTube. You can spend time on internet doing Instagram and reels and whatever. If you want to learn, you can learn anything and everything under the sun. But you go there for the human connection. That's why if you, I sat in the class of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam. Man, I have literally have goosebumps.
Wow.
When Dr. Kalam speaks.
So, see, I think again our time is little limited. So what I'll do is that like I'll skip a lot of part because see
She
our
will
goal
answer
is,
everything. I'm sure she will be kind enough to answer your questions.
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I have other commitments.
I'll handle those. I'll handle those, Shivam. Don't worry. I'll cover those. I
Yeah,
have.
but I'm not sure how available her bandwidth is. But like I just want to say something, sir. So see, like our goal was from this conversation was to at least whoever is listening, right? They should get a perspective of how the first day looked like, right? How
Yeah.
the journey till the first 100 orders. Because after that, it starts becoming an organization. It's
Yeah.
not as stable as an organization, but at least you are not having a heartbreak every day, right? You're
Right.
not on your nerves every day.
Right. Right. Right.
Right? And
Yeah.
for
That's.
someone to be able to navigate that till that point where you're
Hmm.
not, and your story, like, so in your case, until this time, like, how was the journey on the personal side? Like, was it supportive, or were you like, were there any challenges that you were facing around on that side, and how were you navigating them?
So I think the lucky part is that, from a financial standpoint, my parents are not dependent on me. They're, you know, secure in their work. My dad's working, everything is okay. So that's a big blessing, right? You don't have to provide for the family. Second thing is, they were open to me exploring and doing whatever I wanted. They never said that you couldn't do so. I was doing civil services in the beginning, wandering about a lot, and then this. So I think there was no moment of, doubt or, saying that why did you do this instead of this kind of a thing. That was again a blessing. Third is from a marriage standpoint, right? Like, I think even before that happened, I think it was very clear that we're starting this. So a good 3 years would be like fully dedicated for this. It'd be hard to even think, to coming to Dubai anyway was not something that I was having an interest towards. So I made it clear that India would be my base. So if those were the terms that we had discussed.
So the way she paused and said, "Terms."
Right. So
Right.
I think I was transparent. I didn't want to live in Dubai. So we figured out, we would, but he had some commitment. So he stayed back in Dubai for a 3 years period. He came only in 2020. And apart from all this, I think, so Saturday, Sundays, we were working. Weekdays would go like from morning till night 12 or 1. So it was, and you're living in the office, so it's pretty much, it's very less life outside there. But I think one constant thing was I would ensure that I did something towards my fitness, and that would keep me sane. Like, I would either go to a gym or go for a walk, go for a run.
And was that a cult fit gym?
Yes, it was. I started with boxing there because that was very new there, It was the only place that was offering that. I think that has been there like throughout. Yeah, of course, there were.
So my flight to Bangalore is cancelled. I'm not coming. There's a boxer who likes Mr. Bansal,
Like a very.
Bansal's cult brand, and then does calls a cult fit. Ah,
Nice.
zup, zup.
Right, it was I mean, but I think that was something that I enjoyed. So I
And
love dancing, so the Zumba helped. So those were the things that kept me sane, I guess. Yeah, that's pretty much it. 3 years.
And did you take any break during those times, or like it was all work, work?
So I think I took a break during my wedding. I had to. So
How many
with the
days break did you
laptop
yeah,
doing
take?
the Sat Fera, sir, order processing, sir.
yeah, I think, but I took a good 15 days or so, 20 days.
15 days is not good break, madam.
Hmm.
3 4 months is a good break.
Oh
15
my
days is like
God.
nothing. I took a good break of 3.5 minutes.
No,
Nice.
I mean, yeah, that was, but of course, you
That
have to
shows your
take.
passion. That shows your passion towards work. 15 days for you is a good amount.
Again, I think my conclusion is not that this is good or this is
Yeah.
right. Or
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
I was in the hangover of my civil services, right? So
Oh
this is
man.
part of I, this has been part of my culture to like
Yeah.
overwork or, not take,
Yeah, of course.
not really good.
Have you been able to get over the civil services thing? Because you mentioned it for like 1 million times. So let's talk about it because there's a
Right.
popular dialogue on Netflix of Quota Factory that बच्चे कोटा से निकल जाते हैं कोटा बच्चे से नहीं निकलता. So madam, the way she smiles, she knows both of us watch the same movies, same series. We are like the kind of same cookie cutter people. Yes, madam. Answer this question once and for all.
Yeah, I think so. Initially, of course, it was always there because I had spent like a good 3 years for it, right? But I think 1 year into the business, I think I realized
If
that
we open your right drawer, is there a civil services prelims book there?
no, of course not. I've also crossed the age to give the civil
No,
service.
so I think maybe the a better question would be that, like, when it doesn't, I think it may have had impact on forming you as a person,
Hmm.
right? And do you
That's,
still feel that the reflection of that those 3 years is still on you currently, or like you have probably grown out of it?
yes and no. I think I would say both. Uh,
Hmm.
Reflection in the sense, I think I still enjoy a lot of things that I picked up from there, say like history, politics, Uh, those are like, subjects that we were really not exposed to in college or
Mm.
school, so not so much. So those are interests that I really picked up: economics, geography. So I think I still enjoy reading a lot of stuff like
Do
that.
do you feel guilty of taking break for vacations, or now that is
I
you
think it's
allowed
still
yourself?
a hard thing to change. Still very hard, but I'm trying to seriously
Yeah.
come out of that. But it a pinch of guilt still
Guilt
remains.
is there, yeah.
It still remains.
Shivam, how much break do you take? You are also a CEO.
I that guilt is always there.
And
See,
now
so
you're
I
going to
try to
drop off,
convert my
man.
vacations into workations. So sort
Yeah,
of like, yeah, you plan a vacation around the work, where in the like you go to a place, I generally travel more for business only.
Yeah,
So, and in the evening you still have time for yourself and try to stay in maybe little luxury places, just
yeah,
so that like you give yourself that sense of vacation is also there.
yeah.
and I think it's important for the family also, right?
Exactly right. Your
Because
family has to remain sane.
yeah, yeah, exactly, exactly. In your case, it's harder. I think in my case, like my husband has a job, so one of us is like staying at home.
Madam, his better half. So he is a Kendriya Vidyalaya student. He's a KV proud guy
Right,
and a military brat.
right.
And his better half is a KV proud teacher. So she ensures he behaves.
That's true.
Shivam,
Yeah,
KV
so
teacher?
because no, no, so basically, right? It's I think over time I've also realized that when you take these breaks, right, it gives sometimes you have to have that bird eye view of your business that you cannot do when you are in the business.
Right. That's
Maybe for me
absolutely right.
that
In
is not
fact, I think that I learned the most when we had the Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women program, which happened
Yes.
in
Now the
2019.
plug happens.
Yeah, so it happened in 2019, and the program structure is such that you'll be at IIM Bangalore for 3 weeks, spread across 3 months. So
His NS Raghavan Center for Entrepreneurship and Learning.
that's right, NSR cell. So 1 month, 1 week, month two, 1 week, month three, 1 week. But the entire week you're staying there and you're getting classes there. So you're totally out of business, away from business,
care.
right? But the kind of perspective that you get when you stay out is amazing. It's really brilliant. And the way they space the program was also such that, 1 week you actually learn something and then you can come back and kind of see if there are ways to implement it as well.
Yeah.
So I think power of delegation, power of staying away from business and thinking, all these came when I did that program, I guess, for me.
But you love your company so much. It's like your baby. You can't trust your baby with someone else. It's like literally like giving a baby. So you don't feel that someone else will do the good job. You're so attached with it.
Uh, I don't know if I'm that kind though. I mean, I think because there are people, see, we have people who are there from day one. How am I better than them? Like
Wow.
both of us learn together, both of us are doing things together, or all of us who are there from day one. So they're equally
And
capable
see,
to do
in
stuff.
in my case, right, what I feel is that I'm probably the worst of the workers,
Exactly.
right? So
Exactly.
I feel that I have to be there just to make sure that the ship knows the direction. But I should not be at the execution ever, because these people are executing day in day out. They are
Exactly.
better at it.
Exactly.
Shivam asked me, Naval, you're sure this will record, na? I said, sir, 8 years. He said, Kelly, will you sure this Google Meet will be recorded? I said, of course. That's a great learning. He's not a micromanager. He trusted me. He delegated. So that's a great learning from both of you. You folks know how to delegate tasks, keep people responsible. Shivam gave another example of giving the employees 10 or 15 days of off, but ensuring they have built capacity. It's the
Yeah.
power of delegation. Folks like me fall in love. So if you have watched Seinfeld, the TV series, it's a legend. So Seinfeld wrote the dialogues. He even talked to the cameraman, to the spectators, to everything. He says that there is a fingerprint of Seinfeld in everything.
Oh.
So that's the reason Seinfeld is such a legend. He has done each and everything. There's a lot of Tonight shows that come on HBO and others, where the guy literally goes stand by the camera. He knows where the lighting is going to come from. This is going to come from. I tell, for example, that the CEO of BMW or this Indra Nui, she is an IIM Ahmedabad graduate. She could be a football coach because the job of CEO is to keep people nice and warm together. They should not be quarreling and infighting and politics happening. And then everyone knows that the SVP of engineering of BMW knows. But what I when I started up, I felt that I should be the shop floor worker of BMW. I should be able to open an entire BMW car of all the 1,000 parts and then reassemble it. And I
Wow.
take great part of. I took so much great proud of it that I know from the nut and bolt. Then I will be the great CEO. No, there are
Hmm.
two separate schools of thinking. You may be a great musician or a singer or a footballer or something unrelated, and you can still be a great CEO. There are functional CEOs who earn a lot of respect, who come from Ford and GE and all the legendary companies of America. Those who have risen from the bottom, they know that this guy has come from shop floor. So they are like the legends of the industry. So when the CEO goes, the entire workers follow them like a fan follows Shah Rukh Khan or all the actresses or you can talk about. What Shivam and you have highlighted it is that once you have got your hands and fingerprints on everything, Steve Jobs, he would actually open he would need to know what's there. He may
Right.
not design the phone, the screen will come from Samsung or something. He would have his fingerprints everywhere. They would never have a stylus on an iPad because they said this is the world's best stylus. It's after his death when the stylus came and on the Apple iPad Pro, that's when people said that no, it's a big disservice to Steve Jobs, right? Then when the people, lot of part of my podcast is because of who Shivam is, who Nikkitha is, how Nikkitha has worked hard, how Nikkitha has been fortunate. Because what I felt or what I have found of one way of thinking is that the human being become bigger than brand. Because if Apple is not Steve Jobs, then Apple is nothing. If Apple can fire Steve Jobs and he went to Pixar, made Pixar, came back to Apple, and then you say, no, Apple will stay Apple, whether Steve Jobs lives and dies. Of course, Steve Jobs had stomach cancer, he died, unfortunately. Apple still's there. Johnny Ive did a good work, Tim Cook is doing amazing work. But delegating is a great way of staying sane, having good work life balance, and scaling. Because you cannot scale, you will burn out. The time when your company needs you the most, needs Shivam the most, Shivam is busy getting mental wellness because he has worked 18 hours.
Yeah, yeah.
That's not possible because
But
we're so
what I
used to
feel
it.
is that it was required at some point because
Ah,
initial days
but you
you
cannot
have
scale
to.
now, brother. You cannot scale.
I think here one more important point is that why there might be a distrust that others can't do what you can
And it's
do.
coming from a good place in the heart. It's not coming from a bad place in
It
the heart.
might be also because there is some information that's privy to you and they are not able to see, right? That's where mostly they are not able to perform. But if you're able to make those information also accessible to the entire team, right? They can also equally, perform.
But then, as a startup, you will worry that that's your IP. They can jump ship
Right.
and
See,
then the company will
that's
close.
a call that you have to take. So anybody can copy anybody, is what I think.
Because Shivam mentioned that he's a big believer of systems thinking.
Hmm.
The process activity task, he would document and have standardized processes. Just
Right.
like in refineries or large energy, or they are like standard SOPs that you have
Yeah.
to do this, there are checklists. You cannot have a refinery running with one thing missing. The entire nuclear facility will come off. So
Right, that's
having
true. But what I meant is, for example, for us in our organization, we don't keep the financial information hidden at all. So
of course.
everybody understands that they are able to understand. Everybody, in the sense, of course, after a certain point, maybe it's not relevant for a lot of people. But whoever are in the leadership team need to understand the financials a little deeper. They need to know what is impacting revenue, what is impacting cost. So if probably if that side of information was hidden from them, they would not be able to perform to the level that we should have.
Hmm,
Because maybe I
hmm,
am able to perform because I have access to that information. So
ah.
I think letting go of a lot of these things can also
How
help.
do you trust people, Nikita, if I may ask?
So I trust blindly, and then only later, by
Gone back to
nature,
yourself.
that's how I am. So I don't know. I don't think I'm the right person to answer that question. Shivam.
Just before we go further, right? I'll just probably ask two more questions because I need to to head out of this. So my first one is that, see, you are a woman founder, right? So, and did you ever feel that what extra challenges you had to face because of gender, or like was it very difficult for you, or how was it?
See, to be honest, I think the family support that I got, and probably the location, a Bangalore metro city that I chose to kind of build this. I would say such instances have been very, very, very minimal. That probably something that I don't even have to highlight, but doesn't mean others are not going through it. I
Hmm.
wouldn't ever deny that. I think
Mm.
I have been lucky to be around a bunch of folks who did not consider my gender as a
Hmm.
factor
Hmm.
See,
to.
I also ask this because you are running a logistics business as a woman, right? So,
Hmm.
and something that is considered more masculine,
Right.
right? So, did you ever feel that gender was an issue, or like you were like,
Logistics and masculine.
No, that's true. That's what, but that's what, like I said, DHL, FedEx, all these vendors have been really amazing. The 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 guy who rented out the apartment, they've been really amazing. They allowed me to stay
Now
alone.
this is going to be an Oscar speech.
No, but I think, like I said, I have been around people who've
it's really good, yeah,
supported my growth to a very large extent, which is a blessing. I know a lot of people who are probably not, going through a similar journey.
yeah, yeah.
So, from my perspective, I think things have been pretty fair. That
Hmm.
again, that's what location matters, where you grow up matters, how your family perceives things matter. So yeah, and I think also in a way I'm very strict about how that is. So I do not allow anybody to even make a sentence which might be,
Oh,
Misconstrued and
yeah, which is not in the right sense for a woman. So I think probably I've cut out people or situations like
did
that.
you feel that you had to put it up that one, that kind of a persona, and that made you lose your sense of originality?
Not really. That is who I am. So I don't think so. But yeah, of course, I think for every role, because you're as a person who's a founder, you have to probably do marketing, you have to talk to investors, you have to talk to operations folks, you have to talk to local warehouse guys, you have to talk to. So, of course, there are small areas of persona that you keep adding to refine and adjust to different areas, but the core remains the same for sure.
okay, cool. So, and the last question is, what's your piece of advice for anyone who's starting?
Oh my God, that's like a big question. I think first thing is like start today if possible.
Wow.
Yeah, like start
Hmm.
right now. Maybe you have a job, maybe you don't have a job, but I think most things in its raw format can be tested out on like
Wow.
in very minimum time. So probably if I had to go back and change things in my journey, I would also do that. Probably stay in a job, stay if my house is the virtual address, create a Facebook page, reach a 50, 100 customers, and then figure out what
Yeah,
things to do.
actually, wait till Mintra strikes your address. Till AI, if Mintra figures out there is something wrong with this person, why they are ordering so much. Till they don't have a problem, why do I have a problem?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's very, to me, that's like the first and foremost thing. Second is like, initial days are like, you have to be very hacky and like jugaad mindset to, your focus is mainly to get consumers to understand your product. And so figure out different ways to get that. It could be beg, borrow, steal, starting
Hmm.
from there to fancy digital marketing stuff. But don't have to think of scale on day
Yeah,
one. It's
yeah.
just like finding that set of
But
100 people who can.
Very nice advice, I would say.
I know you are from a time when there wasn't lots of hundreds of thousands of dollars flowing into the market. People were the use of term burn wasn't there,
Hmm,
but now there's a lot of burn coming in. A lot of people get demotivated
hmm,
that companies are burning their way to IPO. I'll not name such large firms, but all three of us
right,
know which those firms are. So if
hmm,
you are a young Nikita Shankar, you don't have so much money to market, to spend on
correct.
marketing, to
Yeah,
spend on. You don't have a marketing budget
yeah,
because you only have money that's your own money, it's not savings account money.
right.
You can't spend 5 lakh rupees to for a young classmate who can help you market
Yeah.
because you don't have it. So how do you first sustain? survive when others are burning to likes and Instagram follows and stuff?
That's what, like I said, initially your mindset is to be hacky and jugadu, right? So sometimes you know this is the customer and has an interest, you just go ping and ask them, do you want this
And
product?
you don't want publicity because others will come and kill you because you are very young. They will take over your business. So you don't want, if you are a younger person, you don't want too much publicity. You will scale up and then you want people to know what you are doing. You want
Yeah,
to grow
like
up and build muscle.
I like what Nikita just said, right? That like, and I have done this in the past where you just go and you know that he's your customer. You just
Yes.
make him a friend on Facebook and just tell him that this
Yeah.
is what I
Yeah,
want you to
exactly.
do. That's
Yeah,
it.
it's not a spray and pray. It's not like a radio telecast happening. It's very targeted messaging. It's not a
Yeah,
Facebook ad running. Yeah,
that's what it is.
People
So
say my persona, this persona, that persona. I don't believe in that, right? In the
yeah,
case of I
very
orders, I don't need
focused.
anything.
no, that one might help you to figure out who that customer is. So if that helps you, good. But if you don't
Exactly.
have such frameworks, also it's fine. You just, if you know who is going to buy your
Pick
product,
up the phone, call them, go to their DM page or whatever,
yeah,
DM them,
yeah,
and then word of mouth, so that to stay private, you stay focused,
right,
you grow.
yeah,
Once you have become one with 100,000 people, then you can think of brand building and spending
absolutely,
and stuff.
yeah. So then the other thing I guess if I had to mention is about like staying focused and observant, right? Because the market will keep giving you signals,
Hmm.
uh, where the interest is coming
Huh.
from,
For
which
example.
service is. So, for example, say we were doing this cross border, taking orders from abroad, but
Hmm.
suddenly we started getting some interest from local people here saying that can you send my courier abroad?
Huh. That's where the Shopper
That is
parcels
something
come.
that I did not even visualize in my earlier,
Hmm.
right? So then we started testing that out, like that consumer. It may work, may not work. Maybe that would be the biggest one, right? So, but what I'm
Hmm.
trying to say is that there are signals that market will keep throwing. So it's important that maybe it's not your full-time job or full-time business or whatever it is, but you need to be focused and observe those signals and be ready to pivot. Your first idea is
Hmm.
like could be the it might look completely different by the end of
Hmm.
one year
Correct. Correct.
of
Correct.
Very
sort.
nice advice, I would say.
So
The
not
season two
marrying
has
the
pivot
idea,
here.
yeah, not marrying the idea and just be observant of signals, starting very very light and being hacky and having the mindset to pivot. I think these would be the things that I would have to share.
The reason why we got you also here is that, see, this people hear a lot of stories of businesses that are built and they reach scale, but they don't hear the stories of the first one or 100 orders. And when you hear that story, sometimes you feel that it was not as complicated as I'm thinking of the businesses.
Right.
And I think this is what, like, you brought it out very clearly, right? Your journey from your like college to the first 100 orders is of perseverance, definitely. But
Hmm.
then it's not something that if someone hears, they cannot, like, they would feel inspired enough to do it on them on their
Yeah.
own, right? So it's not something that's very impossible to do. Only thing, and whatever advice you gave at the end, if someone follows that, probably like that clears a lot of clutter for you, for everyone. Yeah.
Hopefully, but also just to add, so the journey of the first 100 or whatever, right? See, on it's not only that it's not so complex, like you said, it's also that you don't require 1,000 orders on day one.
Yeah, yeah,
You're,
Hmm.
so when you start something on day one, you're thinking of like, how can I hit that 1 million or like
yeah,
a large number of orders? I don't know. That's the mindset that I had, right?
yeah,
But
yeah,
you realize you can't even fulfill like 50 orders.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So just to be able to take your company to that number where you can fulfill comfortably and then slowly, incrementally improving from there, that's what matters the most. And so for you to identify that number and reaching there is what is critical. So not 1,000 orders, not 1 million orders, but probably
I
20,
think
whatever.
staying lean is also essential so that you don't burn so much that you are in such a huge debt. But by the time these orders come, you don't have working capital enough. Those working capital becomes a huge problem. A lot of startups also come and talk about the working capital that they raise, that's entire debt, and then they try to refinance those debts,
Yeah.
and that becomes a big problem. So because I told them that if you don't have, first, if you do marketing, you get those orders, and if you're burning on each order, and if people will race to the bottom, if for example, if Aramex is the bottom line, if the target, and then they charge you as a because cost differentiation is never a long-term growth strategy. If they see you as a cost differentiator, you will not be able to add value. What I told them is that if you are a logistics service provider, use UPI, because India has UPI tech and India's UPI tech is going global. So layer your logistics on top of UPI and go to Singapore, and then become a logistics service provider with financial services and grow on top of these tech stacks, and then add value. So if you charge and you fulfill through UPI, then you have all the power of government behind you. Government is anyway pushing UPI and transaction and commerce. Now you're also fulfilling logistics through UPI. So you
Right.
will get all the funds coming in. So don't try to, wherever you want to spend money, figure out which government scheme is going so in older days there used to be those trade winds, इसको पाल की नाव बोलते हैं. There was a cloth in the boat that will hit those boat and those boats will come. Unfortunately, those trade winds brought Britishers who exploited us for 300 years. But those trade winds are now coming in the form of policies and regulations. So have a boat with a sail of cloth,
Yeah.
and if the wind is blowing, don't go in opposite direction. Try to use as much wind as you can. Don't burn your money. Keep money. If somebody gives you lines of credit, keep it. Say I need every single dollar you can give me, but don't spend it. And then use everything that government can give you. That's a hacking mindset. And UPI, and we can talk about this later in a different podcast about how the tech stack of logistics firms are growing and how they're building on top of UPI and they're leveraging. So there is, I'll say this Amazon Sambhav is happening on December 9 and 10 in Delhi, and they have a multi-channel providers and multi-channel fulfillers, and they are providing all these facilities on top of them with lots of cloud credits for free. So don't burn your money. And they're paying the same Amazon. They've created an account. I said, use the same Gmail account, add an email, get those all reimbursed. That's a cool 2.5 lakh rupees. I was texting Shivam for some other purpose in the morning, what's the same Amazon stuff. And they just don't know. And there's an Amazon hackathon happening right now on Hacker Earth on the entire logistics service value add on top of UPI, because Visa and MasterCard and Amex, they have already used those payment gateways, and India wants to build value services that India can charge on top of that. So government will become a revenue earner.
Right.
Then use their own COE, the center of excellence there. Why don't you use them?
Yeah.
So what Shivam said is 100% right. One is don't have patience. Second is, what I feel is that never burn so much cash and have so much debt that on things that you can sleep and some.
I mean, debt is not an option. I don't think you should ever use debt capital for growth. But if you're getting venture capital fund, I mean, that's a different ballgame.
Yeah, but
So I don't think
51% equity also goes. That's a problem. Anyways.
I mean, it's a personal choice, however.
Yeah.
Right.
Cool. Chalo, so I think I'm good.
Yeah.
Like, but really, thank you for this.
Just one final question. When did you start burning big marketing dollars? After you built a couple of, so if you are a CFO and if you have 100 rupees, that's an exercise I do with all the founders. I tell them that, hey, I give you 100 rupees. And
Right.
now you have, say, couple of buckets. Shivam, so sorry if I'm keeping you.
Yeah.
If you have couple of buckets, one is you can put that's a free cash flow of 100 rupees. You can put that in a cash reserve. You can pay back the EMI of existing loan.
Right.
You have already enough money, pay extra EMI. So cash reserve, extra loan EMI, give executive bonuses. Third, give employees salary hikes, because executives are paid huge on variable component. That's
Right.
separate from salary hikes. So increase cash reserve, reduce debt, executive bonuses, salary hikes, invest in R&D and new product development,
Right.
and try to divide this. And then R&D and NPD has the marketing component.
Okay.
So I tell them to allocate. It's a fun exercise. Someone says 100 rupees there, someone says 71, 29, something. So if you had to do that, and that's when did you start that NPD and marketing? After you hit a particular cash reserve, or what's your mindset about that?
So, in general, about marketing, I think what I realized is that spending big marketing dollars, even if you have so much money, may not help in the initial days. It's really hard to, unless there's some minimum, some brand value that you're able to build.
Who made the Shopre logo? Don't tell you made it on Excel.
Yeah, I think we all together made it. That's why it's so colorful and also
The lens card
updating.
founders, the lens card founder said it on Shark Tank that he did an online competition. Somebody made it on MS Paint. That's
Actually,
why.
yes, that's what I mean. We had given it out as a crowd. There was a crowdsourcing. I mean, some platform which had
Yeah,
a bunch of designers. So we asked them.
there's no shame. The point is, Indians feel that we didn't pay it, we didn't spend it to the Pablo Picasso or Michelangelo design it. But it's perfectly fine. The
Yeah,
point is,
yeah,
it's
absolutely.
perfectly fine.
That's. I don't think that's the least bit of worry for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah. So in terms of spend, I think for marketing, unless the brand reaches a certain point, I mean, I think the core that you need to crack is customer experience. If you're able to crack that, then you know when to start putting marketing dollars. So when you start putting marketing dollars, also you know this consumer coming into your platform is able to go through a journey which can fulfill him. So let's
Hmm.
say your consumer experience is really, really broken, and how much ever marketing dollars you put in, it's very difficult to bring conversion, right? And the other part is there are so many areas where you need to increase your presence, like say reviews, ratings. Your brand need to be present across whatever channels are.
Yeah, I saw your Substack page. I went and liked your Substack post. So she has made a Substack post of 2023 reviewed. She has written one guy from Indonesia gave this order.
Right,
One I have
right.
gone through entire post. I said two likes. I said make it. Let's make it three. Third like.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Substack.
yeah, I think so. Paid marketing in isolation will not work. So, you need to ensure that all different channels, everything is getting sort of planned. Where paid marketing can help is, let's say, on day one, SEO is not going to work, right? It requires
Definitely.
some substantial amount of time, and you want to say you have some small amount of money, you know exactly who those consumers are, you know how to target them on Facebook, then you put some money and test it and see, like, is this business viable, feasible, how to create the customer experience. So for that purpose also, I think it works out. Otherwise, spending large amount of marketing dollars in any form, like say radio or TV, or none of such things work in the
Or
initial.
maybe organizing an event with that sari Sammelan women just to sponsor a dinner, sponsor a lunch, paying for that. We
I
could
still
consider
think
that as
sponsorships
marketing.
are also like a much later thing. It
Acha.
won't work on, like say, unless you hit a certain amount of orders in some kind of a brand,
So,
right?
so that lady would go and
Okay,
talk
so
about that sari.
I need to leave. I'm on a
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
stop
No,
actually.
no
Really,
problem.
really sorry for this, but thank
we
you.
will we loved your presence, Shivam. We will get you back sometime someday, and we will also wrap up just with this part of that. So feel free to turn off video, but stay on the call if you can.
Okay.
But otherwise, I'll have to make the screen shorter.
Oh,
Just last
sure,
part. So
sure.
because if that women, the lady who went for that sari group in
Yeah.
Dubai, so she definitely would have talked great things about you.
Right.
There's a popular story about the singer sewing machine. The
Hmm.
singer sewing machine, 100-year-old story. An old lady came with a broken singer sewing machine.
Hmm.
The founder, and the singer sewing machine founder said it was Akai. I think it was Japanese singer sewing was owner. He said, "Yeah, yeah, I'll replace it." And the guy was saying that lady broke it. It wasn't broken. He gave her a new sewing machine. That
Okay.
lady went. Then the founder, I think, I'm not sure, but mostly Japanese guy, he told that, when that old lady
Hmm.
goes back to her home with a brand new singer sewing machine, this is late early 1900s, she will go and tell 20 people that,
Right.
he gave me a new singer sewing machine.
Right. Right. That's why I said consumer experience and those initial customers
You don't have to
getting that.
pay. Yeah.
That's the most thing, and then word of mouth is the best way to kind of spread the word initially.
Yeah, that's right. So that's, I think, the core crux of any marketing. The entire Kotler and the marketing books don't teach you that, life teaches you. Thank you so much, Shivam. You have always been an amazing person. You look amazing in
I
your
think
brand
today
t-shirt.
Nikita has been the amazing person here,
Yeah,
and
I had
I'll come back to talking a bit about her in a longish part. But you look amazing in your brand t-shirt.
Thank you.
So
Yeah.
those who are enjoying us on Spotify, I'll request them to maybe join us on our Spotify video one, or maybe on our YouTube podcast one. Those who are listening to us on our Apple podcast as well, if Apple podcast has allowed you the video option, do turn it on,
The brand
because
is the affordable organic store. If
yeah,
at
it's
all you
affordable.
can't see it.
Yes, because a lot of people will not get all the cues that we make while talking. So I know my dedicated audio listener base is on Spotify, and they keep on messaging comments that make only audio content. I have started making video ones because the trust is better. Definitely, thanks a ton to Nikita. I know we have stretched beyond the 5:30 hour mark, but
Fine.
I hope this was not a boring interview. This is usually part of a conversation.
Yeah, 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 absolutely. And it was fun trying to remember the old days, right? Like it's been a long time since I went back to the days when struggle was real.
Yeah.
Trying to remember those days, like really humbling and nice. So
Yes,
yeah,
the podcast had a good mix of left brain thinking and right brain thinking. Left brain of hardcore numbers, first $100, how much money, how much rupees, how much return, when to start investing, and the right brain numbers as well. That the right brain feelings, that why, how can people think, and what triggers people to come back and not just be the lure of a developed world, but also how they can come and bring and work for a cause. It also helped us to know about people who silently work behind our back to help us grow. Could
Yeah.
be a colleague who helps make your website, could be a colleague who helps to mentor you in his office, beyond
right,
his office hours. Those unheard, unthanked people. And of course, I'm pretty sure by 2024 the systems of Karnataka, Bangalore, and the India's ecosystem would have developed a large.
yeah,
I'll try to put a lot of links in the for all the listeners in the bottom of course of their websites, but especially those ecosystems and foundations where people can at least go and learn about it. For example, a lot of people did not know about Amazon Sambhav. So a lot of things that worked for Nikita, if they do not work for you, they could be another one person helping, or they could be Reddit group, or they could be a Facebook group, they could be just comment scheme. You don't know. So whatever research I have done, whatever enablement or NSRCL, or there are many other works that IIM Bangalore does and IBM does as well, for especially for women. Usually they come around 8 March. I think the entire year is for women, not just 8 March. We are still in November. So I'll try to put all those links so that you don't feel disheartened if you don't feel as lucky. My humbling part was to get these two giants in the podcast. These two giants don't know how fortunate I am. If I have spoken too much or spoken out of turn, I must apologize. It was not to
I think we're good. I think we're good. There's
to
nothing, no, nothing
not
offensive.
at all. It was fun.
um,
Just fun.
uh,
Yeah, yeah.
so it was only to extract and understand that
Yeah,
the system works. It's say in English, the entire, it takes a village to bring up a child. So the concept of self-made man or self-made woman sometimes ignores the concept of village to bring up a child.
yeah,
It's important to learn that community stood there somewhere, sometime, because that's where one is the selfish motive, that they are a customer base at the end of the day. You can't alienate the ecosystem and then sell to them. Especially if you are in FMCG or B2C segment. Secondly, it's the honest fact that it takes a village to bring up a child. So thank you so much.
thank you.
I hope this was entertaining. Not that entertaining in terms of a Maroon 5 concert which coming up in Mumbai. Tickets available, but good to know that you folks liked it. I'll for all of my listeners, feel free to drop your comments and reach out to both of them, Shivam Gupta and Nikita. I've already mentioned that Shivam is looking for volunteers for tree plantation drives. Those links are already there in the Shivam's previous podcast. And there were a couple of people who asked for those links, and I've given them on my WhatsApp channel as well. Nikita, do you want to plug any initiative or anything that you want people to come and explore? I know the festive shopping season for the US and that Christmas and Black Friday is coming up. Do you have anything that you want to plug?
No, I think that's okay. But in case if anybody, especially a woman, wants to reach out to understand how to grow their business or anything in terms of whatever limited understanding that I have, and I can help. That's for sure.
Sure. So I'll maybe put up a Google form, not your email, because that will get flooded by so
I'm
many.
okay. I'm okay. Anything or LinkedIn, I'm pretty active on.
Yeah, or you can reach out to Nikita on LinkedIn.
Yeah,
I'll
yeah,
put her LinkedIn address in the show notes.
sure.
Thank you so much. Thank you to both my guests and to the listeners for tuning in. You have been listening to In Conversation with Shivam Gupta, the amazing CEO of Taos, the affordable organic store, and Nikkitha Shankar, the amazing CEO and co-founder of shopware.com and shopwareparcels.com. So do explore those two websites. Do let us know how did you like it, how did you feel it. Comments, feedback, big bats of how we try to romanticize the academic life and there it was not that good, or how we try to put down some good colleges or not. Feel free. I know a lot of love is coming from Indore. I know a lot other Amritsar from where the madam did her 2 month certification. Big bats come. I know you have been my students. I know. So I love all of that. I'll stop my recording. Thank you so much for all the listeners. We will have some off air show notes. That's for our list of our hosts. Thank you so much. Goodbye. Just wave to the audience, maybe.
Thank you. Bye.
Cheers. Bye.
Thank you. Great. So